welcome to Achievement Hunting 101, the podcast that off into the horizon. I'm FuFuCuddilyPoof, and thank you for joining. This is level 172. Joining me tonight is Big L.
Was that intro some sort of foreshadowing?
No, of course not. Why would you think that? It's totally coincidental.
Be careful with your accusations, L.
That was a terrible pun, Nate.
Well, thank you.
I think he missed mine.
KooshMoose is with us too. That's absolutely awful. And also joining us because Corey was a suck and could not join us for whatever reason. I think he's just playing Forza. We have with us Michelle.
Hello. I assumed it's because Corey doesn't play good games like Forza, so, he wasn't invited to the party.
I think this is like one of 4 good games that he actually does play.
That Dadish series is not going to complete itself.
That's true. That's true. There are more than 4 Vayners, too, so you might be underestimating a little bit.
Just a tad. But yes, Forza is definitely the big game that we will get into later on. It's so good. But what we will get into right away is our topic of discussion for this week, which this question was given to us by Doughboy. I'm sorry,
say it right.
I said that wrong. Doughboy.
Okay.
There
6 out of 10.
That's better. All right. His question or comment / question, he said, if something like, I don't know, packing a home, selling it, moving your family across the country and setting up a new place kept you from gaming for a few months, I wonder why he would say that. What would you do to break the time away? Finish off old stuff, start something new, focus on ratio? Well, I'm going to go ahead and read Ahiz's answer to this because some of it echoes from what I would do. Ahiza says, I would go back to my favorite RPGs and RTSs to get myself back into the hobby in general. Mass Effect, Golden Sun, some Command & Conquer, something I can really bury myself in and remember why I love gaming with my favorites. I may not even come back to the achievement side of the hobby after that kind of hiatus, but I wouldn't write off the possibility. I agree a lot with this one. If I were to take a few months off, I would definitely want to come back to something familiar, something I could put a lot of time into, or something I just have fun with. Something like an Age of Empires, or he says Command & Conquer. I like Command & Conquer Red Alert. That's one of my favorite series of all time. And then, a really good RPG like a Skyrim or Oblivion or something. So, I think I agree with Ahizo on this one. That's a good way to do it. Or maybe even go back to a couple of like old-timey PlayStation 1 games that I just really liked from my childhood, like Future Cop or Einhander or something.
Ooh, Einhander. Good, excellent choice.
It's such a good game.
I know, and so really underknown, underappreciated. It's, to my knowledge, never been remastered anyway. I think it might have gotten out onto the PlayStation Store at some point, as a PS1 classic, but man, that is a game I would love them to go back to.
I would love a remaster of that game to just come to everything.
Mm-hmm.
That is probably the game that makes me like shoot 'em ups.
Yeah,
if it wasn't for that one.
I'm terrible at them. It confirmed it at that time too, but there was just something about
same.
it. I just kept banging my head against the wall and trying at least.
Yep, same fear. What about you, Michelle? What would you do to get back into gaming?
Well, before I talk about what I would do, I'm going to go ahead and read KT Echo's response because it actually kind of caught me off guard that I wasn't thinking along these lines. So KT Echo says, personally, I'd look to get into whatever game my friends are now playing. If all my friends had moved on to something new, I'd be pretty open to picking it up despite being very picky with new games on my tag. Catching up with gaming pals with no hardest difficulty achievement or a boring collectathon to worry about is probably the best way to get into gaming. Back into gaming I can imagine. Bonus points for not having a defined goal here either. So you can just play as long or as short as you want and still walk away satisfied. So what I thought interesting about this response is actually playing with friends didn't even enter my mind when I thought about how I would get back into gaming. And gaming with my friends has so completely molded my gaming in the last, 15 years or so, where I make my gaming choices based on what are my friends playing, whether I'm playing the games with them, or we're playing games concurrently so we can talk about it. And it just never crossed my mind, because I feel like if this were my situation and I abandoned gaming for 5-6 months and we're coming back to it, I'd want to go into those games that I found enjoyable before I got really into all of the online stuff. The JRPGs I used to spend a lot of time with, like going back and rediscovering things that I've sort of left behind as I've adapted this newer, more recent gaming persona. So I think some of the answer is going to depend on what is the relationship to your friends and the other people you know who do game, and how that might impact your gaming on return. So that was a great answer. It definitely made me think about how I was approaching it.
Mm-hmm.
And for Doughboy, congratulations on your move and everything. So I just want to throw that out there too. It's good to see you back in Discord and asking us a question.
Yes, very much so. Yeah, gaming with friends. That's such an easy answer.
Mm-hmm.
Especially in today's world where everything seems to be online.
Well, I think one other layer of this discussion is your tag, right? Would you go back to playing on FuFuCuddilyPoof or on Big L or on KooshMoose, or would you use that as an opportunity to say that's done? I'm going to start with a new tag that's either a just for fun tag or 100% tag, or does it even matter? Are you finally going to break out the Switch? So it's a very interesting question.
Oh, I would never not play on FuFuCuddilyPoof. I've had this tag for 13 or 14 years now, so
most of your life.
Rid of it, yeah, literally like half my life I've had this tag. That seems like a sin to get rid of it at this point. What about your answer, Nate? What you got?
Well, I would first read what Mental Knight 5 wrote, and that is, I would definitely focus on ratio. Tanking my ratio. Are you kidding? I'd be so behind my yearly goals. Baby games, baby games, baby games. Go, go, go. What am I waiting for? I mean, you took the words right out of my mouth, literally. No, I probably wouldn't be focused on ratio or any of that stuff. I don't really have goals. What I'd like to say my answer would be is I would probably break the horrible gaming habits I have and start gaming the right way, or the way I want to. But I wouldn't do that, obviously. I would immediately go straight to what's leaving Game Pass, because that's what I always do. I play those games.
Now, if you took a break, sorry to cut you off, Nate, but if you took a break from gaming and then you come back, now I would assume during your break, your Game Pass is likely to have lapsed. Would you immediately restart your Game Pass subscription, or would you use that as an opportunity to say, you know what, that was a bit overwhelming. I'm just going to focus on this handful of games here?
Well, my Game Pass is currently prepaid until sometime in 2022.
So let's say
that ridiculous deal they had.
A sometime in 2022 level break.
Okay.
And just for the sake of discussion, do you think the first thing you do would be to renew that Game Pass subscription to have that access, or would you stick with more singular titles?
I'm sure that's what I would do. Yeah, I don't think that I would play any of the games sitting behind me, which I should. I should say, hey, you know what? I'm going to go play these things. But I wouldn't. I'm sure I would just get the Game Pass because I love the indie stuff that just shows up every 2 weeks or whatever. And then I can play, and just, I like the new shiny. So I'm sure that's what I would do. The other thing I might do is sometimes when I'm away and not really gaming, I'm doing a little bit of gaming. Like I'm playing Ori, or I'm playing, whatever else. Or maybe I'll finish up that thing on the system that doesn't have achievements, like the Switch.
Like
that I'm going
Pokemon?
to take with me. Like, so maybe I'll put some more time into Metroid Dread, those sorts of things. Maybe I'll finish that up and then go back to Xbox. But for the most part, yeah, I'd probably go back to what's on Game Pass and just jump right back into it. I'm not so worried about my score or my ratio or any of that stuff, but I do like playing new games often. So I think that's how I'd hit the ground running again.
Yeah, I see that.
Nothing if not
what
predictable.
About you, Al? Oh, yeah.
Well, actually, before I give my response, Rocker Dude, is he on the line? Yeah, hi, Big Al. just want to say that you are so handsome and smart, and I know you definitely got on time, ready to record, waiting for those other guys. Oh, that's true, Corey. Thank you. Big L, I love you. Oh, thanks, bud. Anyway, I would get a new game, something that really looks interesting to you despite its list. For me, that'd be something colorful, yay, smaller in nature, compared to that of an open sandbox type game, y'all, and something of a mediocre to good quality. And I promise to watch Princess Bride in the next decade or two. Right. Thanks, Corey. So, yeah.
That was quite the message from Corey.
Yeah, it was very poignant.
Felt like he was
so emotional.
Right here.
Yeah. Lovey-dovey.
He's a good guy, when he wants to be. Emotional now. So a smaller in nature game. Well, interesting. We have another one from Wild West 08. Excuse me. He says, "Hey, I am doing this right now as we get ready to sell our house and possibly build a house with a game room. I would probably keep a streak alive if possible and focus on games I've already started. At that time in my life, I wouldn't want to try to learn something new when I would be devoting less time to it." All right. So, congrats to you as well, Wild West. And of course, to Doughboy for hypothetically moving from, a lovely state such as Pennsylvania. I just hope you didn't move to anywhere kind of strange like Florida or something. I don't think, that would happen, hopefully.
Nah, he would never do that.
I hope not, because that's just icky. So, I mean, I know someone else that moved recently and was able to still maintain his streak and play every day, but I digress.
Who was that?
I don't know. Some guy.
That was across
someone
county,
with
not across
That was a
country.
bridge. You crossed a bridge.
Like it's a
Someone
little
really-
different. A little different.
I didn't say it was me. I just know someone who did that.
Oh, okay.
Someone with a great accent. That's the only hint you got.
Well, it definitely wasn't L then.
Exactly.
Probably someone in Australia.
Well, if it were me that crossed a couple of states where apparently there's no internet or electricity or anything else, I think I would do the opposite of what Corey did and probably start a long project.
Really?
I think so. At least that's what I would like to do. Realistically, I would play the same way, but what I would want to do is start a long project and maybe have the gaming with friends thing on the side. A side project like Forza Horizon 5, for example. Like just naming a random game that we probably won't be talking about too much.
So I know Oliver's a little bit young to hold a controller yet, so we'll put that aside for you. But for Nate and Elle, like, how would gaming with your children factor into that decision? Would it at all? Like, would they just be off doing their own thing, you think? Or do you think you'd use that as an opportunity to go back and revisit some stuff with them?
No. I think I'd rather play with Oliver at this point than my kids. And, no, I mean, I don't know what you mean. Like, break out the pie.
Right. Like, would
your
first post cross-country move be like, here, we're going to sit down and work on this thing together? Would that be another entryway to get back into gaming after abandoning it for a few months?
Sure.
Maybe.
Definitely maybe. Possibly.
I'm not sure what would. I mean, the only thing that would make me stop gaming for a couple months would be like a hospital stay where I was allergic to electronics, or maybe broke all my hands, and maybe my feet, and maybe the ability to hold a pen in my mouth. I mean, that would probably be the only thing that would keep me away from gaming for that long.
Some people in November are allergic to nuts. I don't understand why, but this is what happens. Don't roll your eyes at me.
Nate would immediately just go get the Microsoft Accessibility controller. So it doesn't matter what happened to him, he would still play.
It is a different world now, right? Because if you're dedicated to the pursuit of continuing to play your games, you're going to play them on xCloud. You can get them perfectly fine on a browser or on your phone.
No one does that, Michelle, please.
No one does that, I know. We have no
big
stories
4K
coming
TVs.
up about that. But
come on. No one does that.
But yeah, I think this question plays very differently, though, 6 years ago, when that's not the case, and we can't access all of our gaming as easily as we can now.
Now, really, my answer would be, Doughboy, get in a party and do something with us. That's my answer.
Do something.
Do something when you can. When you're back, jump in a party. Do something. We'll find something.
Zombie Army Trilogy.
It's not like he's in the East Coast with the rest of us.
Yes.
Yeah, Doughboy.
That was a great question, though.
Yeah.
Just hypothetical, though.
Hypothetically, I hope that gave you some ideas.
We hope.
All right.
We hope you make it to 100,000 gamer score soon, Doughboy.
Wait, I'm ahead of somebody? Holy crap.
I have to check this out.
I don't even believe you.
Kenny, you've got to put in a little data verification music here while Nate looks this up.
Now I don't have to. Elle did it for me. All right. Let's get into the game showcase. Let's start talking about...
He has just over 2 foofs.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so we're neck and neck. All right. Like I said, let's get into some real games. Just go down the list. Nate, tell me about some unpacking.
Sure. Wow, what a fitting game for Doughboy's question. I did not even plan that. That's just how the world, the universe works sometimes. Just gives you gifts. So yes, I played a little game on Game Pass called Unpacking that I had heard about, and I was probably more interested in than you would originally think, just because somebody said that it's got emergent gameplay. Meaning that this game tells a story, and that story is different for everybody because there is no story, and there's no story there's no story that's narrated to you. You're not reading really any sort of thread through the thing. Basically, as far as the reading goes, there's maybe a paragraph in the entire game, and each one of these chapters has a little sentence. Finally, my own room. That's the very first level. And you are a kid, and you're moving into your very first room. You don't see yourself. All you see is the room in front of you. You can't pan around the room or whatever. It's static. It's right there in front of you. I think you can zoom in and zoom out. You then have a box on the floor, or a series of boxes. And you click on the box to open it. And then as soon as you do that, an item appears at your cursor. Now, you can play this on PC, you can play this on Xbox. I played both. I played it on PC first to completion, and then I went back and did it on the Xbox just to see what a controller would be like. It's not bad. You just move things around with your left stick, you select with the A button, and if you want to rotate or interact with something, you press B. If you want to switch from, room to room, you use the shoulder buttons. Very intuitive. It's not too bad. But with the mouse, you're just clicking and moving all the time. You can get exact placement where you want things and things like that. Even though for the most part, when you're snapping things, there's a grid. You don't see the grid, but it's there. This tabletop can take 4 items, or it can take kind of like a Diablo management system. This thing's 2 units tall, 3 units wide, or you can replace it with 3 2 unit but 1 unit wide. It's too much math. Sorry. So you can basically just juggle things around and try to get things to fit in the smallest space possible. Your goal in that first room is just unpack everything. Just put stuff around the room. Just do it. And when you're done, you'll get a little golden star, and you can move on to the next room. As you earn achievements, some of these achievements will be just progression. Just get through this room. Just get through that room. There will also be special things that you can do, and I don't want to ruin that because they're kind of fun when they happen. And you can also just play with the stuff in the room a little bit. Some of the things are interactive. Not a whole lot, but some of the things are. So that's just kind of fun when an achievement pops up and you're like, oh, awesome, I did a thing. That's pretty cool. What's interesting is that each move is a snapshot in time in the life of this character. So the first move is your first room. The second move is your first room in college, which is pretty cool. That's a pretty big step, right? So you, as you're going through all these moves, and then you have your move after college into your first apartment, a couple other ones, right? And what you see are the things that you're moving from that old life into the new life or the new stage. So it's really kind of interesting to see, okay, well, what was carried from here to here? Or like, what's new now? Or what is still there, but it's really used? Like, items can be aged as they go through from move to move. And that's pretty cool. And that kind of tells a story that is, kind of colored or shaded by your experiences. It's not told to you because you're like, oh, okay, that's cool. What is this person like? And you can see common threads going from like this move to this move to this move. Some items make it all the way to the end. Other items get dropped, immediately. Or they only go 2 moves or whatever. Or they get replaced. And you see a thing, oh, this thing got replaced with this. Or this whole collection started to be added to as time went on. That's pretty cool. So there's this cool
Your
little...
teddy bear stays with you without you.
There are certain stuffed animals that you start off with, and some of them make it pretty far into the whole process, and that's kind of cool. It's also interesting that the packaging changes as well. There's a certain stage in your life where you do all your moves yourself with like a garbage bag, right? You're just like, I got to move just everything in the garbage bag. Just go, just get out before the cops get here. And then the other is like you have your own boxes and stuff. And then a little bit later in the game, you have a moving company, obviously, because the boxes have changed. And that just kind of tells you where that person is in their life. And that's pretty cool. I kind of like that storytelling, the way that was done. That's pretty much the game. It's very short. It didn't take me too long. It says it took me 3 hours and 22 minutes. The estimate is 1 to 2. And yeah, I had a good time with it.
Took your time.
Kind of got a little bit old with the mouse, moving things around. I think it would probably get kind of old with the controller as well if you're just doing it in one big sit down. But if you're doing it in like little, you sit down, you do a room at a time, or a move at a time. That might be the way to play it. There is one bad thing. There's an accessibility option that allows you to turn off having to put things in the proper place. Sometimes you'll get items in a box in the kitchen that belongs in the bedroom. Like you have a boot. And it's like, what is this boot doing in the kitchen box? Like, I don't know, but that's how moves work sometimes, right? So you have to take it from there and just, switch rooms to the bedroom and then put it in the closet. When you turn that accessibility option off, you could drop it in the bathroom. You could leave a boot in the bathroom on the floor and it would be fine.
Are you a monster? Why would you do that?
And they wouldn't, ding you for that. At the very, very end of the game, if you're not using that option, or at the very end of a move, the rooms will flash. You can look at a map that shows you all the rooms in whatever place you are, and they'll flash red. And when you go to that room, the items that are in the wrong place will flash red, and you can figure out where they go. That's part of the puzzle. If you don't like that, turn that accessibility option off, and you can zoom through the game and get your 1,000 gamer score in no time. But yeah, that's unpacking.
Is it colorful? Is it colorful?
It is colorful. It's kind of a pixel art. I don't want to say pixel art. So it's not like 8-bit, but it's kind of like clip art-ish. It's more clip art-ish.
Yeah, clip art's a good way to put it.
Than like 8-bit.
Yeah, one of the first things I saw about this game was some of the... I don't know if this is what you were trying to hold off on as a fun surprise, but there are some old consoles that you can see when playing the game.
Yeah, there's old consoles. There's controllers that are obviously for that console.
Yeah. I saw an article that says that people keep putting the GameCube in the kitchen because they think it's a household appliance. The younger gamers.
Come on now. Even I'm not young enough to know that.
I could see that. It would be nice if every item had like a tag next to it that tells you what it was. I'm not a girl, not a woman. And a lot of the boxes that were in the bathroom, I had no idea what they were. So I was like, would I want this out in the open? I don't know. I don't know. Anything I don't know about is going in a drawer or underneath the thing. And that seemed to get me through the level. So
this game sounds fun.
Yeah, it's okay.
So you're like graded at the end of the level based on where things go, or you just have
not graded. It's a pass-fail system.
Okay. Is it timed, or you just have as much time as you want to do it?
No, just go in, have fun, explore, do whatever you want. Make the room as nice as you want. Make it the way you would want it, or just put things in places and move on.
This sounds like another just do a bit before bed type
Just
game.
You can totally do that.
Just pass the
Yep.
little kid test.
Sure, yeah. There's nothing in this game that is you'd want to shield your kids from. You can't tell what it is. Is it a GameCube or is it a Blender? I don't know. It's blue and
You
a little
can
bit
get
of
those
red.
too
So
confused.
maybe some gray.
Yeah, this is one that's kind of like on my list. I think it was Corey that first talked about it. Whoever it was that first talked about it, it's like, this seems interesting.
I mean, this is
Not necessarily like a big time game, but like
this is the
like I said,
beauty of Game Pass. This is a $20 game. And
that's $20.
that no one would pay $20 for, but yet it's on Game Pass. People will actually try it, I think.
I would do, yeah. Let's see.
Yeah, I was actually intending to ask you about that. That the game right now, Unpacking, has 26,000 tracked gamers. Did you have a vibe that many people would have tracked it without Game Pass? But it sounds pretty clear, especially at the price tag.
There's no way.
Absolutely not.
There's no way.
Maybe
I like
26.
that the score.
Not a chance.
Score's a 3.6. I think that's great. I'm surprised.
Wow.
I'm surprised that our class of gamer achievement hunters are giving it a 3.6, probably because of the accessibility mode. But
In general, there aren't that many Game Pass games that are super easy 1000s, right? Like there are a few that you can get a bunch out of, but this one seems to be reasonably fun to play, and even like you said, playing naturally took about 3.5 hours without the accessibility options. So there are not a lot of games that fit that category, so that'll give it a bump amongst most TA folks, and it sounds like it's got a pretty good base to start from, even before all that.
yeah, I think achievement hunters would be annoyed by this game if they were just going in just for the gamer score. Because you'd have to turn that option on and just start chucking stuff in corners and whatever. And then the achievements would be like, okay, well, I have to put the thing near the thing and I have to do this over here. It's like, okay, well, which one is which? Well, if you weren't paying attention, you're just throwing things on the floor. Now you have to like look for it. Whereas if you're just kind of picking an item up, looking at it, maybe spinning it, saying, oh, I'm going to put this on the shelf. Or this clearly goes, I don't know, in this drawer, and then I'm going to close the drawer and I'll never see it again.
Did you have
that's
to
the
go...
other thing.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
And that's the other thing is sometimes the places you move to already have things there. So it's not like you're moving into a bare room. You're not moving any furniture, number one. You're just moving knickknacks and things.
Moving furniture is a different game.
Yeah, exactly. And we've talked about that game before, I think. So yeah, you're basically just moving things around in the furniture that exists. Sometimes those things are packed with things, and you're just kind of moving stuff into it, trying to find a spot. Other times you have a completely blank canvas to paint upon.
So I'm looking at the achievements on TA, and I'm noticing that most of them have 4 solutions at minimum, and it's 4 different video guides. Do you think any video guide is necessary for this?
Wow.
Or
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Absolutely not.
Did you have to go back to levels to wrap things up, or did you get everything in sequence, like start to finish?
I did have to go back to one level because I didn't know what an item was.
Okay.
Yeah, there's this one thing where you have to put a particular item in a any number of places. But I didn't realize what that thing was, and I just said, "Oh, okay, I'll put it under the bed." And that was fine, but it didn't get me an achievement.
Okay.
TA needs a new genre of just Zen games.
Yeah, I mean,
Stuff like this, Glass Masquerade.
absolutely,
You
this
go in
totally
there.
fits. You can do this while you're editing. And then
Now that's my kind of game.
the
No, wait,
state
though.
of your room is saved. So if you put the game down, everything you moved is where it was. If you go back to that after you've beaten the level, everything's where it was. You can choose to move things around. You can choose to save. You can choose to cancel the changes you made. I think there's 3 saves in the game, so you could have 3 different. If you got a whole bunch of people playing on the same console, you can have your own game going. And then when you're done, you can just blow that data away and play again if you want. But for the things where you had to go back and I have to have this very specific criteria. Okay, cool. Even though I've already unpacked everything, I can just move the things to the place, get the achievement, and cancel out.
I know this is a random aside, but I've cheated already. So for the rest of you, Nate, you might already know.
All right.
Based on Nate's description of this game, what genre do you think it falls in to on TA? Because there isn't a Zen genre.
I haven't looked.
I'll tell you what, it's wrong. Does that help you?
It seems
Action
wrong from what you're...
adventure.
You think?
Close?
Naval.
No. I mean, I'm not exactly sure where
click.
I would put it, but it's simulation, which doesn't seem... I mean, I guess you're simulating putting things in the room.
Wrong.
I would think more puzzle.
You're simulating your unpacking. Like, I thought it was a puzzle.
Yeah,
I
it
would
sounded
think
like
more
a puzzle.
I saw simulation and went,
It's not a difficult puzzle. It's like a 5-piece jigsaw puzzle. Like, it's not... You're gonna get it. You know, it's not difficult.
Mm-hmm.
Simulation's not necessarily wrong, but it also just doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
Right.
Now, can you have a 10-year-old Iron Man cup sitting by your computer?
No one would do that.
Okay, just making sure.
That would be silly.
No one would do that.
It's Robin. Man.
But it is funny. I mentioned that. Like, you'll see a thing move from place to place that makes absolutely no sense. Like, why would I still be holding on to that thing when I'm in my 20s?
Yeah.
And it's just kind of fun.
I feel attacked.
Well, no, I didn't mean your cup. I mean your hypothetical cup. I didn't mean that.
Oh, we're back to hypotheticals again.
Yes, back to hypotheticals. But yeah.
All right. Well,
that was unpacking.
yeah, we unpacked that game.
Oh.
So much.
Oh.
All right. Michelle, what about your game? What do you want to bring up?
All right. I wanted to actually talk about a game that I know has been discussed in some context before, but it was some time ago, so I want to come back to it. And that is Beyond Eyes. Elle, I know you've played it. Nate, I'm pretty sure you have. Kenny, have you played this at all?
Yeah, right.
You know that you've been in a couple contests in the years since it's been released. You might have stooped to that level.
Okay, fair. No, I have not checked this game out whatsoever.
So Beyond Eyes, if you are not familiar with it, is a game that essentially explores what it's like to explore space when you are blind. In the story of the game, this little girl's cat runs away and she's trying to find the cat, but she can't see. So I went back to Beyond Eyes for contest reasons, of course, and I immediately was frustrated by how slowly you moved. I don't know if you guys remember this.
Yep.
But you move very, very slow. And I found myself, as I was playing the game, thinking, is this a negative of the game or a negative of the way that I'm expecting to interact with a game? Because taking the game's premise again, if you are blind, if you shut your eyes and you're trying to explore an area you've never been through before, you're not jogging at full tilt. Right?
No, that's a terrible idea.
You're stutter stepping, you're holding your hands out from one side to the other, and that's essentially how Beyond Eyes plays. You walk, and as you walk, very slowly, the world draws in around you. And as certain effects happen, so for example, it rains at some points, the world that you've drawn based on your experience walking through, some of it washes away because now the rain has affected your understanding of the world around you. So I'm only bringing this up briefly to say that it was interesting playing it at this point and thinking about it as sort of an argument for games as art or games as experience in that way. Because as a video game, when you think of a video game, there's not a whole lot there. But if you take a step back and don't get frustrated at it because you're not running full speed and you're not jumping over things and think about where the developers were trying to put you, it actually was an interesting experience. I wouldn't recommend it to everyone, but it's an easy 1K, and once again, I think if you take it back, it is pretty. The graphics draw in very nicely and all that. And I did finally finish it. I wound up not using a guide. I had started with a video guide, but once again, character walks real slow. It's very easy to get lost in the videos. Just take the time, walk around, figure out the spaces. There's a chapter select. You can go back and pick up things you missed pretty easily. But it is interesting to take a step back and think about it as not a video game and as an experience. So that was my takeaway.
Yeah, it's different, especially with the artwork as well.
Mm-hmm.
I can see a lot of people in the Discord being interested in this game, but
Well, my initial
not necessarily. It doesn't
Too
jump out
late.
at me.
well, my initial reaction was to, jump and holler about how slow it moves and how frustrating it is that you can't just, I want to go scare these birds or whatever, and why I have to walk all the way around town at a speed that's very, very slow so I can pick up one piece of bread to walk all the way back around and throw it to the birds. But it's not supposed to play differently, so it's doing what it means to do.
Well, I hope nobody actually wants to play this that hasn't yet, because it has been removed from the Microsoft Store. So
Yeah. That was the developer ended their agreement with Team 17, I think, who published it initially. So it's not available at the moment, but it may be available again at some point. I feel like it's not 100% the case, but a lot of folks in this particular community have probably already played it, or if they haven't, they have access to it because it is an easy 1K. It's not very demanding in any way. But yeah, so it may resurface, but I think the developer would have to secure another publisher for that.
Yeah, and it was digital only. So
right.
No CDs laying around.
In 2015, this was super quick, easy completion for 1 to 2 hours.
Right.
Oh, I did not realize this was that old.
Yeah. And it's worth 1100 TA, which is a lot. I'm used to seeing easy games below 1100.
Well, like you said, it's sort of...
People
Go ahead.
Something about these indie games I like to spend 3.5 hours in.
Was that your time at the end?
That's my time. It's 3.5 hours.
Oh.
I think mine was probably a little longer.
Mine was 2.5 hours.
Mine was 4.5. So there we go. We've run the whole range of times. I had put it aside for a long time before coming back to it recently to finish it up. And a lot of the reason it took me so long to finish it up was I just didn't feel like I last played it 3 years ago. And you know that feeling when you put a game aside and you think, do I remember enough to play it through, or am I going to have to start over? And starting games over just feels like such a waste of time when there's so much other stuff to play. But it didn't require starting over at all. It was not that kind of issue.
Did you get that sense of like, why did I stop? I was like half an hour from the end.
I didn't, and because it's that slowness. It's just you're moving from point A to point B, and the whole time you're like, I know what I have to do, I know where I have to go, but I can't make this happen any differently. I can't move any faster. Right? We all know that when we're playing a game and you have to move and you realize that jump moves you just a little bit faster, so you jump the whole way there. There is nothing like that in this game, but it's the design. So once I got that in my head, I was fine with the rest of my gameplay time with it. But yeah, I didn't really have any problem going back, and I didn't really consider the reason I dropped it was because I got whatever achievement I needed in whatever competition I was in, and was fine moving on from it.
All right.
Who would do that?
And L, what game you want to bring to the table?
Big L. All right. Well, do you remember my favorite company, Kenny?
Radalika.
The other one.
Chili Dog.
No, that's mine. Sorry, Corey.
343.
What? That's yours.
Yeah, that's totally mine.
Moon Studios.
I'm going to moon you people. No, of course, it's Eastasiasoft. Come on, get with the program, Kenny.
Gross.
No, not gross. Awesome. Yeah,
Very
so
gross.
this is a game that I talked about after playing an hour of it. And now I can say that it is complete. And that game is Trigger Witch. I have recently been recommending this game to everyone. And hopefully it goes on sale soon, so it could be bought by everyone. So this is the what did you call it, Nate? The gun
Shoot 'em up.
Gun is a religion.
Ballisticism?
Yeah.
Is that what it is, Michelle?
Right. Ballisticism is the religion in there.
Yeah,
Just fun to
ballisticism.
say. Yes.
Yeah.
So basically, there is a crazy story with a crazy plot reveal that I did not see coming. I will not talk about that, but it is well worth playing, and it is definitely well worth playing in co-op. It is 2 players. Both players get achievements. And more importantly, In 2 players, if one person dies, they have 5 seconds and then they will revive, where I think in 1 player, you would be starting over. So in 2 players, if both players happen to die, then you would have to, do the room over or whatever it is. We didn't die too often. It's basically a twin-stick shooter. Sorry, I need to go back to what the game is. It's a twin-stick shooter. You go collect weapon parts, and you're going to collect around 8 or 9 different weapons as you go. And you collect, and the money you get in the game is for basically one purpose, to upgrade these guns. And that's tied to some of the achievements in the game. And you go around to Zelda-like dungeons and solve those dungeons, kill the bosses, and the treasures in the game look just like A Link to the Past. The backgrounds and the art look just like A Link to the Past. The music is amazing. So there's a slow music and a fast music. So you listen to the slow music, and when an enemy appears, it turns into this rock and roll version of the same music, and it's goes in and out. And then when you kill the enemies, you hear the old music again. So it's really awesome. Once again, the soundtrack is on Spotify, and when you're playing the game, you don't really hear too much of that rockin' soundtrack, because as soon as you kill the enemies, it's over. So it's really worth listening to on Spotify. And you can listen to the songs in order, and just a fun time. It's not a hard game. It's actually got a good length. I think our time wound up being a little bit over 10 or 11 hours, but we tend to explore every nook and cranny. We didn't use a guide. There's nothing missable. There's actually one technical missable achievement to be on the lookout for at the very last dungeon. If you decide to see a big treasure chest and walk past it and not open it, you could lock yourself out of one of the weapons. But I don't think anyone would do that. But that's technically the only missable thing. We ran into a couple of little bugs, though, I will say, where things didn't spawn and stuff like that. There's actually an option where you can pause the game and click on Reset Room, which maybe the devs noticed something a little weird, so you can just reset the room if you get stuck behind something, especially in co-op. We had a couple times where someone got stuck or something like that. And we had a little hiccup at the end of the game on the final boss where, I don't want to spoil anything, but basically something didn't come that was supposed to come. So I had to end up exiting out and going back in. And then that fixed it, thankfully. And yeah, so achievements pop for everyone. We wound up getting a little bit scared of something that we thought might not pop, but everything wound up just fine at the end. There's different difficulties. We played on normal, and I would suggest just sticking on normal, because if you put it on easy, you get less gems. So I guess it would make life easier, but then you would have to grind more to get more gems to get all the upgrades. So we stuck it on normal. Thinking back now, we probably should have made it on harder, and you get more gems that way. But yeah, anything to...
So I'm looking at the screenshots on TA, and one of them, it says colors, but it's spelled with a U.
I mean, every game
this
has
is a British-made game.
Not every game is perfect, I guess.
Well, I'm just wondering, is this like the kind of game of what Europeans think that America is, where it's just gun cults everywhere?
Yes, it is a British-made game.
A British take on American culture.
Yeah. I wouldn't call it American culture.
No. So one thing, I think just to be clear, the co-op is local only.
Yes.
Just to note that, because the co-op is good and it's fun and it works fine. It's a shame that it's not online. I also would want to just point out the achievement list is a lot of fun. There's plenty of stuff you get just for progressing through the game, but there's an achievement for like firing your gun in your house. That's something like failed basic safety or something. Like there are several achievements you get throughout the game for just doing little things that are interactive. So the list was really good, and it tracked, which was also really cool, that it had achievement tracking, which is one of those things every every game
Not every
should
indie
have.
game has that, yeah. There's
Right. Not every main game.
57
Yeah,
achievements.
not every major game has that.
Yes, that's true.
But it was, for an Eastasiasoft game where I didn't know what I was getting into, really had a great time with it. And it was one of the more surprising turns I think I've ever experienced in a video game. I did not expect it to go where it went.
Mm-hmm.
One other thing with Trigger Witch, it's very like nice pixel art. Like Elle said, it's Legend of Zelda style. And then the first thing you shoot, there's just pixel blood everywhere. If
There is a lot of blood.
If you're playing with littles around, there's actually a confetti mode where you shoot things and confetti
Pinata mode
pops out of them. Pinata mode.
Yes.
And there's an achievement for that. There's an achievement for
Yes.
killing 25 enemies in Pinata mode. So it's got a fun list too, on top of being a pretty fun game to play. The biggest negative of it, I think, and Elle, you can confirm or say something else, is there is a sort of lack of variety, unfortunately. There are treasure chests throughout the game, but you only ever find gems, stock parts to upgrade your guns, or keys occasionally. That's it. You never find like a new cosmetic or a new piece of armor or anything of that nature. So it seems like a little bit of a missed opportunity. But outside of that, it was really solid. And again, that last, I don't know, 2 hours, hour of the game, that was a trip. You would have to experience yourself. Anything we say would be a spoiler.
All right.
Trying to think if there's anything else.
Well-
I guess not.
So did you? I remember when I played the demo, I just felt a little bit weirded out by that whole gun as a religion thing. That didn't hit you funny at all?
Well, I will say this without spoiling too much. There is some addressing of that by the game's conclusion.
Okay.
Yeah, and the game's protagonist is just a happy old witch, and she's very interesting character, and there's a lot of also a lot of pop culture references and little Easter eggs also.
There's a pop culture reference that Corey will get eventually if he ever plays this game, but does not get right now.
Oh, is it from The Office?
It's one of the few things he would
All
get.
right.
It is inconceivable that he would get it.
Oh, I see what you did there.
Definitely. So that's Trigger Witch. Definitely pick it up if you have a local co-op partner.
Oh, that reminds me. I was going to ask you, in the wildest of your imagination, can you imagine playing this solo, and would it still be a fun experience?
Especially at $15.
It's a really,
Especially for-
really good question. I'm sure it would still be a good experience, yes. But you'd probably have to be more careful. I will admit to fully just running and gunning and not being as careful, knowing that Michelle will revive me every 5 seconds. So
That sounds about right.
It's true.
Michelle, how was your experience of reviving Elle every 5 seconds? And would you have rather played it by yourself?
I think it would be fine. Like Elle said, there is a difficulty slider, and we played it on the normal difficulty, so you can even drop it down a little further. If you like twin stick shooters, it would be fine, because as a twin stick shooter, it's not a difficult twin stick shooter. That's just the game mechanic they chose to use for something that's generally more of like an adventure RPG. But one thing to note, like as you're going through fortresses and dungeons, when you clear enemies, they stay clear. And the game has very good checkpointing. So as you're going through a dungeon, there might be 2 or 3 warp points, and these will warp you back to the dungeon's entrance. That's all great. But if you die in a dungeon, all the enemies respawn.
Mm-hmm.
So you would have to go through them again. You get potions in Trigger Witch, but the potions are not potions you buy to refill. As you kill more enemies, the potions refill. And so that's how you earn more uses there. I think it would be fine if you play careful and less run and gun and take your time with where you're going.
Mm-hmm.
You might have to do more leaving a dungeon and returning to make sure that you don't lose. I'm not particularly good at twin stick shooters. I love them, but it's just like the Einhander thing. I loved it, but I'm not good at it. But I could play that carefully enough that I'm sure I could get through it. I think Trigger Witch is almost more good because I had no expectations of it. That like I didn't expect it to be good or bad. I just had nothing. And it really wound up being a fun experience. There are very few games that work in co-op like that well, that also have tracking, that also have interesting lists. It just checks a lot of the right boxes.
And one other thing, now that you mention it, I don't know if this is good or bad. Probably more good. Unlike Zelda, there's no real inventory management you have to worry about. So there's a button for your potion, and that's it. You don't have to pause it and equip your potion and anything like that.
That's nice.
There's different weapons you can cycle through with your right stick, I think it is. And that's about it. So your main weapon has infinite bullets. And then all your other weapons, you have your set number of bullets, and then they run out. And then after a set amount of time, you can just put it back on, and then all the bullets will magically be back. Which is also, I believe, explained a little bit in the game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, throughout Trigger Witch, you find 9 weapons. They're on a weapon like a radial, and you can attach them to up, down, left, and right on the D-pad. So you can have your 4 favorites selected that you can go through.
Mm-hmm. Well, in that case, I'm going to go. And I want to talk about some cloud gaming that I've been doing. And this will kind of take us into our...
Not Final Fantasy VII, please.
Probably the main game that we're going to talk about, which is Forza Horizon 5. So I've been wanting to try out the cloud gaming, specifically through the browser. I haven't been playing through my phone. I've been playing through just the Microsoft Edge browser or whatever it is that I was using. And I wanted to experiment, see how it was. I was also talking to my brother, trying to get him into gaming with Xbox a little bit more. And I was just bringing up random games. And him and I are both Dragon Ball fans. So it's like, okay, so I brought up Dragon Ball Fighters, which is now on Game Pass. And considering I was playing at work, where unlike here, the internet is not blazing fast. I have an okay-ish internet. It's like 20 up, 20 down. Nothing terrible, nothing bad. And I'm playing on an older laptop. And I would just say I was pleasantly surprised just how responsive the game was. Like, I'm sure anyone who thinks, oh, you got to play a fighting game online through the internet, that's just going to be awful. The latency is not going to work. As soon as you press the A button, he kicked, or just jump, you want to jump, it jumps. There was zero latency. I was really surprised. I'm like, oh, well, maybe that was just that day or something. Maybe I had a little bit better connection. I'll also say I was playing through Wi-Fi. I'm not plugged in. Well, today I didn't get to play Forza early. I didn't buy the car pass or whatever the pack is to play a couple days early, and I didn't get a chance to play at midnight last night. So I played today at lunch, and I booted up Forza Horizon 5 once again through the cloud on my laptop, and wow, it is a wonder of not only how responsive the game is, where as soon as I want to turn, it immediately turns, but also just how good the game looks on a very mediocre laptop, on a mediocre internet connection. And it runs perfectly. It was as if I was playing it on my Xbox, and quite honestly, it was probably a better experience than playing on my Xbox because the load times were so much better. And actually, it's something I want to ask you guys. How is the load times for Forza Horizon 5 compared to 4? Because 4, for me, it was a very long load time. And when I was playing Forza Horizon 5 through the cloud, it was like, I don't know, 20 seconds or so. It was almost instant.
I would say they're faster. It loads faster than Forza Horizon 4. Although I think they sped that up as time went on. I think it got better at launching. But 5 from the start is definitely faster than 4. I wouldn't say it's blazing, but it's faster. Feels shorter to start.
I'd agree with that too, that 5 is generally faster. However, it still suffers somewhat from server issues. Some of that is because the newness, but 4 never stopped suffering from server issues, so I'm not sure that will ever quite be resolved. So you still do have instances where you're waiting for a race to begin or a team race or whatever else, and you're just sitting there and it's spinning. And that's a server side thing. It's not a series versus a laptop versus cloud gaming thing. But the load times in the game are similar to 4 in that there's kind of a bigger initial load, and then after that everything moves pretty quick.
Okay.
Yeah, if you're just
Yeah.
driving, it's great. Except for when you hit an invisible wall and you go from 230 to 0.
Oh, good. I'm not the only one that experiences that.
Yeah, the brakes are, it's amazing. You can stop literally on a dime. And then you can keep driving. But yeah, when you're loading into races or you're doing specifically the arcade mode, that stuff, you can sit there, and like Michelle was saying, like your GUI will go away and you'll just see, oh, here I am, and here's the world with no speedometer and no whatever. And did the game crash? I don't know. And then you just keep waiting, and eventually, maybe most times, you're going to load into an actual match. But you're stuck there waiting for a while.
Patch?
Yeah,
I did have one time where I fell through the map. My car just sort of spun into the endless abyss. But other than that, the little server issues aside, oh man, Forza 5 is so much fun. Forza Horizon 5,
Yes.
I should say. Oh.
my daughter pulled a Noth in Forza Horizon 3. She drove into the ocean and under the water, which would normally respawn you. Mm-hmm. Somehow she pushed through the barrier and she was just driving under the water, completely normal. Amazing. It was like, it's normal. This is what we do. But yeah, I haven't experienced that in 5 yet. Anytime I go in the water in 5, boom, you're back.
I've gotten hung up on rocky surfaces sometimes where it doesn't respawn me, because I guess if I turn my wheel one particular way and rock back and forth, I'd eventually get out of there. Mexico is a rockier environment just generally than London is, so that's happened a little bit, but it hasn't been too troubling.
What do you do when that happens?
Press pause and ask for another car from the garage.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, you switch cars and it moves you like 5 feet over.
Yeah, and you're fine.
Yeah. I think normally my first intention is, I'll just fast travel somewhere. But that, of course, costs money at the beginning of the game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So far, the game, it's just so good. Forza Horizon is such a good game. Like, I'm not a racing fan, really. I like kart racers, but that's because I can, hit you with a blue shell or something like that. That, to me, is more fun. That's why I loved Blur back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
However, Forza Horizon 4, it's like making me a racing fan. Like, I want to play more racing games just because of how good it is. And Forza Horizon 5, it's just more of that. Like, it's just a sequel, and so far it is fantastic. I'm loving the map being down in Mexico. The dust storm is so cool. It's very different.
I was going to ask Elle what he thought about the time to free roam, like in comparison to 4.
Oh, so much better.
I mean,
it took a long time.
I'm not sure what you're talking about, since they're both the same exact game. So,
oh man,
that's why we saved you for last. Okay.
And his mic is cut. So let's talk about all the awesome things.
Direct your hate at Big L.
But at least they had some, some appropriate Mexican music, like, I don't know, Foo Fighters.
By name, they mentioned them. Yep.
Yes, they do.
So,
I got paid.
Have you experienced yet? I had seen it, but I didn't put it together that now sometimes on the radio songs will offer you double skill points.
Really?
Like, have you heard them?
Wait, what?
Saying that to you yet?
I thought that was a thing in 4.
It
like
may
some
have
cars
been, but I don't
might have had
remember.
that. Yeah.
Oh,
maybe
it's uncertain.
It's either a house. I think if you bought a certain house, I think that skill was available.
I had all
or if
the
you had a certain
houses.
car.
I don't recall ever seeing it.
I thought it was in 4, but I've seen it in 5, and it just comes up, and when it does, cool.
But
it
actually,
do that thing you couldn't score the stupid drift zone enough, but now you got the skill thing. Go do it. Now's the time.
Oh yeah, I guess that's on the Forza Edition cars. That makes sense. But
cool.
It actually highlights a point about personally, like, my excitement playing Forza Horizon 5 is that Elle got very lucky with 4 and won some super special edition or something when it launched. But I didn't play it for months and months later, like after the DLC was out and everything was established. So when 5 came out, I was super excited to jump in at the jump. So that's probably part of why I noticed this, because I wasn't distracted by 100 other things. But even with telling myself, I'm just going to focus on main, I'm already just doing PR stunts, doing speed traps, doing Eliminator 400 times. Like, it's just, everything's so much fun. I don't really want to be bothered with just doing the races. That seems like the most boring part of the game somehow.
Mm-hmm.
So, Elle, you were saying that it's basically 4. I think that's kind of true. It's the best parts of 4 streamlined. So,
right.
What I really like about this is it's ridiculous. There are quests. There are quests now. You go and there's checklists. You're going and go find my speed suit, or go find my or go take some seismic readings, and you kind of drive over the thing. I mean, it's cool.
Take a picture.
To be fair, I've only played a couple of hours, and I played the first tutorial to let me in the game, and surprisingly, I was able to play online with people last night after that. So I played with Michelle and Nightwolf and Dude with the Face. Oh, no, sorry. Nightwolf was in the party playing, I don't know. I think that he was boosting this 10-year-old game with people instead of playing Forza Horizon 5. And then what
a weird.
You know, when you have responsibilities and when you're helping people, you stay with your group till everybody gets it, and he should be commended for that. So thank you, Nightwolf.
He stayed in the party
fun of you,
listening to the rest of us in the party, having a blast, trying to figure out how to connect to the game with each other.
While he's pushing
still chose BioShock. So
I invited
he's a good man.
Another friend, Wimplo, who I need to get into the Discord. So
but I agree completely. Oh,
yeah. Let me tell you about my great experiences. Yeah. So we did the playground games. Was that stuff in 4?
Yeah.
It was? Okay.
Describe it to me.
There was Capture the Flag, and then there was something like
like it's in there.
They did. They had the zombie mode. They did have those things. I don't know if they had Capture the Flag, but they had some stuff.
The playground games, mostly you would have only interacted with them during seasonal events if you were working on them. So you probably just never picked them from the menu, because if there are achievements, I don't think there are any achievements attached to them.
There were achievements. Okay,
they might have been really easy though, like really
it was
play
like
a game.
Play it 3 times or something.
So if that's all you did was play it and get out, and I know, Kenny, you're not as achievement motivated as the rest of us in that way, that you'd look at the list and pick that out to do, but it's just not a game mode you would typically
I never felt like dealing with.
Interact with.
So,
but it's there.
I went for the other ones. That I never really felt like dealing with.
But I did find it was funny that we were basically playing Capture the Flag and Oddball, 2 Halo mainstays, but we were just in cars. So I thought that was amusing. Mm-hmm. And speaking of Halo, they have those great horns. Have you seen that, Nate?
Yes.
All the horns you could choose from are amazing. Just amazing.
Horns
so good.
I don't know what you're talking about. You're talking about, like, you mean the beeps in your car?
Yes, okay. They have the...
Wait, you're born and just have like a meet.
Yeah, I have the bass. I haven't changed my horn yet.
You just need to look at them, and you will flip out, Nate, if you haven't seen. There's one in particular that you will...
Corey told me about that one.
Oh, okay.
So, yes, I have a goal.
They have some... the Mexican standby La Cucaracha. They have a lot of... just a lot. Yeah, there's at least 10 from video games.
My only disappointment with that, though, and I don't know if this is the case in 5 yet, I was so excited in Forza Horizon 4 when I unlocked the Halo theme for my horn noise, but other people can't hear it. So, I said it, and I was all excited, like, hey, listen to my song here, and all other people heard was just regular honking. So that seemed to be a cosmetic that you only experience yourself. Yeah, other people could not hear it when I tried it in 4.
That's dumb.
We should.
Let's do something real quick. Let's just for fun. How are you playing, or how are you planning to play 5? Like, what?
How do you mean?
What's your play style for this game? Like, what is your strategy for going in and enjoying Forza Horizon 5? Like, I'll start the way I want. The way I just to give you an idea, because I don't know that I don't know that the question is clear. The way that I enjoy the Forza Horizon 5 series is getting in and on day 1, drive every road. Like, drive every road, get every sign that I can easily get. That isn't a jump, a crazy jump where I have to figure out where the hill is or whatever. Get fast travel, and then play the game. And that for me is fun. I like putting. I've said it before. I like putting on the classical music channel. I like just driving every single road that I possibly can until that achievement pops, and then I go do signs, and then I play the game proper. Are any of you weird like me?
We're all weird, but not necessarily like you.
I'm kind of like that.
So
I'll go last.
So let's take a step back real quick, because we're all just kind of hopping in and talking about this because we're really excited. Mm-hmm. One of the key differences between Forza Horizon 4 and Forza Horizon 5 is how the map builds out. 4 just kind of, you did the Horizon Festival and that was it, and now you did a couple showcase events and stuff was on the screen. In 5, you start at the Horizon Festival, but then you go through earning accolades. So that's the stuff that Nate was touching on earlier, like put down this seismic reader and get this suit, save this guy. And as you earn accolades, you're able to open up other outposts of the festival. So it still winds up being similar, but you're having a more active role as the player in building out the whole Forza Horizon event environment. So I'm trying really, really, really hard to focus on building out the outposts so that I can have access to all the things. But as soon as I get into a new area and the map starts changing color, I'm just driving on the roads. So I'm similar, but I'm trying not to be. I'm really trying to get more of the map open, because if you just go through and play the outpost, you're going to hit a lot of the roads just playing through them. So it's beneficial to do that, but there's just something satisfying about seeing the little road discovery thing pop up
without
frequently.
going through it.
Yeah.
I understand.
See, I play this like other open world games like a Mass Effect or a Skyrim. Well, specifically like in Elder Scrolls, where you have a map and there's just a gajillion icons on your map. I just go, which icon is appealing to me? This one. And I just drive to it. And sometimes I'll be like, well, it's specifically in this, I really like the off-road event. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to go do this cross-country race. And on my way there, I try to hit as many roads as I can. And if I see a sign, I'll veer off and go get that. If I see that the terrain is going to be crazy, I might just run through the hills to try to knock down a bunch of stuff to get skill points. So I'm a little all over the place. I just pick a direction and go and see what I find.
That's cool. Yeah, so my son's actually a big fan of this game also. He's actually done a lot more than I have. So I watched him doing those quests and the accolades and stuff like that. And he was also excited that the XP was actually called XP in this game. And he
had what?
I guess. Okay. Instead of influence, I guess. In 4.
Oh, yeah, it was called influence.
And he said, Dad, I noticed something else. When it says go, you see the upside down exclamation point.
I noticed that as well. I went, wait, why is it like that? Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
They don't teach Spanish in Baltimore, I guess.
See.
So the GUI is actually also streamlined, but it's not as nice. I don't know. There's something different about it.
What do you mean?
I don't know. You see less stuff.
Yeah, when you go into the menu and you're like trying to figure out, okay, well, where is this tuning or where is the thing? It's easier to find.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice.
It's nice. It is nice, but it's
menus.
Less. It's fewer. Excuse me.
Wonder, though, as the game expands.
Oh, yeah. True.
If there won't be more added to that menu with time. There wasn't a Super 7 tab when Forza Horizon launched. There wasn't a Lego tab when Forza Horizon 4 launched. Like,
very true.
These came with time. So it's nice to be in on the game before any DLC, before any major title updates, to just experience sort of this core, because it's not a just. Somebody said in the party we were in yesterday that the map is 1.5 times the size of the England map. there's a lot to
Is it
explore there, and it's very vertical. There's a lot of verticality to the map, a lot of different mountains to climb.
Yes, there is.
Even within the towns, there are tunnels that sort of take you underneath. So it's nice to be playing the game when there aren't all those tabs and there's not all that extra extraneous stuff to see, because there's already so much to see and do in the base package.
It's nice to only have 50-something achievements instead of 170.
That's the thing, right? This really feels achievable. It actually seems easier than 5, and that may just because it's the base, and they haven't started adding title updates and things like that.
Right.
Or DLC.
And it only has the one Eliminator achievement.
So far, yeah. The Eliminator achievement is just win, which hopefully...
That doesn't sound easy to me, but a lot of people have it already.
It's not my bag, but yeah. Hopefully we can figure it out.
So what car did you guys choose first? You had the Corvette, the Bronco, and the Supra.
I was the Ford Bronco, just because of OJ. It's probably also before your time.
You're a hero. Yeah, I chose the Bronco too, because I figured I'm going to be going off-road.
Yes.
It's Mexico, so
exactly.
On Bronco.
Way down Mexico way.
Michelle?
I chose the Corvette probably because it was the first one on the list and I just mashed A.
Okay, so Michelle's the odd one out. I chose the Bronco as well.
That's the only reason I'm the odd one out, clearly.
Yes. Definitely only reason.
It is a little weird playing Forza Horizon 5, though, and only having 30 cars. Like, I'm used to having the hundreds on the list in 4 after playing it for all these hours already. And to go into an event and be like, all right, here are the cars you can pick. And I'm thinking to myself, like, now's the time to take all those photos, right, of the cars before you have hundreds of them. And now it's just this overwhelming task to try to get any of them done. Now's the time to get used to them all and actually... Because I don't play Forza Motorsport because I don't understand cars. I just don't. All the stuff with the tuning and all that other stuff, I don't get it. 4 allows for that more arcadey experience, and many of them, you can just jump in and drive, and they're fine at doing what they have to do. But when we were in party yesterday, the guys in the party were like, oh yeah, you just use this car, and then this one's the best one. Use a Hoonigan, use a Super... I had no idea, even though I've been playing the game for 100 hours. So I'm hoping that also playing now, I'll get a better sense of these early cars because there aren't as many available.
So someone mentioned in I guess, general boosting, like, hey, now's the time to do your season. Yeah, I think it was, I don't remember. I'm going to get it wrong if I say who it was, or who I think it was.
Nightwolf mentioned it in party yesterday, too.
I think it was Retro Chief a while ago. It was talking about in Forza Horizon 4, season is starting. Go ahead and do your full season now if you're going to try, because you have to do 100% for each of the 4 seasons in one cycle. So I started doing that. And then as a result of doing that, I was like, I can't do these things. I'm just not good enough with this car. They're like, well, have you been using tunings? What's a tune? So I figured, finally learned what a tune was. I was like, oh, if you can't beat a race, you just turn the difficulty down, right? Well, nope. You get a tune. You get someone, a gearhead, to make a tune, and then you go out and you tune your car up, and now this thing sticks to the road. It doesn't, instead of flying off at a weird angle. And so as a result of doing that challenge in Forza Horizon 4, going into Forza Horizon 5, like the first thing I do is, oh, I like this car. Oh, it doesn't stay on the road. Okay, I'm going to grab a tune. And then boom, I'm on the road. I'm cruising around. I'm doing things that I normally wouldn't have been able to do. And I think it's accelerated kind of my progress into the game. And maybe it's why I feel like 5 is easier than 4, because I spent so much time on 4 not knowing about tunes, which is, I know, ridiculous to people. People are cursing. But yeah, if you didn't know it makes it a lot easier.
Yeah, that's the interesting part about Forza Horizon 5, where, like Michelle just said, motorsport is very much more of the simulation game, the more realistic type racer, whereas Horizon is arcadey. But at the same time, if you want to go, balls to the wall with the realism with this, you really could, in a way. Like, you can completely turn all the modifiers off, up the difficulty, really get into the tuning, and really try to make this a more realistic racer, which is, something I'm not necessarily interested in. I like just the jump in, drive, go have fun, which I guess also kind of relates back to our topic earlier. This is a great game for that. Like, up until now, I've always had Forza Horizon 4 installed on my Xbox, and it's just I'll just randomly get in, play for a half hour, jump out, and go to bed, or then jump into something else because it's easy. It's just a fun game. It's always good.
The problem for me is it's completely a just one more thing game.
Oh,
so
it
even
is that
playing
too.
last night, I was playing going for roads because, you know, that's the thing to do after you're done playing Eliminator for an hour. And Ahizo had 3 more roads than me. So I was like, all right, I'm just going to catch up to Ahizo, and then I'm going to call it a night. And then I caught up to Ahizo, and Alex has 7 more roads than me. I can't go to sleep with Alex being ahead of me on roads. So I'm going to go get those 7 roads. Oh, well, now I'm at 193 roads. I might as well go for 200. And so that jumping in for 30 minutes and jumping out, I'm very aware, is something you should be able to do, but it requires control. And I like it when I'm excited playing something new like this.
So let me tell very quick. I'll try to. Very quick. Funny story. I know Devin was doing Extra Life, and so I came back from the UFC. It was very, very late or very, very early, depending on your definition. And the guys threw me an invite, so I jumped on. It was Nightwolf, it was Icefire, I think, and it was Devin. And they're just sitting there doing whatever, trying to keep him company. All of a sudden, Nightwolf says, "Hey, I see you've been doing the roads, Nate, and I just want you to know I'm ahead of you."
Oh,
okay. I had been intending to get on and do roads, but then I was like, okay, well, I'm in party. And as I'm doing that, he's like, whoa, hold on. Like, I see your roads are creeping up. And so I passed him, and I was like, yeah, but, you know, I got a lot of stuff to do. I'm not going to be able to play. So I was like, so you can beat me. So he goes ahead, and he pulls ahead. I log in on Sunday. I see that he's, 100 ahead of me. I was like, oh, okay, whatever. I had a little bit of playtime. I got up to the point where I was just beneath him. And then my wife was like, okay, we need to go right now. I was like, no. I need 5 minutes because I need to get 6 more roads to Nightwolf so that when he logs in, if he hits one of those corners where he gets like 4 roads at the same time, he still won't be above my score. So he can see that I'm just above him.
That's amazing.
I need him to see that the next road he gets. So
literally everything about this
yes.
game is a race. Even trying to find all the roads.
Even trying to find all the roads. Yes, they do a great job of just one more. Absolutely.
It really is like a wonder that a racing game does the collectathon so well. Like, you really just want to collect everything in this game.
Well, and it is a credit to the development teams, Turn 10, Playground, Microsoft. I think it was Hawkeye Barry pointed out in patron chat earlier that stat that Forza, before it even launched, had 1 million users already. And
I was just about to bring that up.
That
is incredible.
I have not heard, the most negative thing I've heard is it's very much like Forza Horizon 4. That's what they have created here. Like, that's sort of universal praise. Even when you go to something like Metacritic, there's not a yellow review. Everything is positive. They've really just done a fantastic job. Exclusive game to console, the Xbox console, but obviously also on PC. This is really just a great start to like holiday season gaming and all that. Like, they've done a phenomenal job here.
Yeah, I believe IGN gave it a 10 out of 10. I'm trying to find out.
Now, since Forza Horizon 4 and 5 are the same game, are 1 through 3 also the same game? Has anyone played those?
Couldn't tell you.
Nate?
I started with 4.
Are they the same game? I don't think so. I didn't really play. No, I've played them all. I didn't play 3 very much at all. I liked Forza Horizon 1. Is that the one that had the Fast and the Furious DLC?
That was 2.
Or was that 2? That was 2?
Yeah.
Excuse me. So yeah, I enjoyed that.
I think.
It was a standalone.
Yeah, that was its own thing.
Right.
I feel
think
like
it was
they're
attached
similar.
to 2.
Yeah, I mean, it's a clear progression. It's a clear evolution of the model.
I think, and I'm pretty sure I asked yesterday, I asked Nightwolf, and I think he answered as such, but I don't want to misquote. But this is the first time where the games have been directly linked like this. When Forza Horizon 5 begins, cars are dropping out of cargo planes, and just everything looks beautiful and cool and fast and exciting. and you're your same character you were in Horizon 4. So I think that sort of continuity is new.
That is true. I saw the same character that I picked in 4, and I was like, oh, I'll be her again. So
I honestly don't remember at any point putting my name into the game, so I was like, it's talking to me and knows who I am, because it retained that information from 4, where I also don't remember putting in my name. So it's still weird to hear Anna be like, hey, Michelle. I'm like, wait, no.
That's me.
I didn't do that. But yeah.
You know what's funny is it called me Smith. Like, it's like, hey, Smith. And I'm like, what? Because I want to be called Nightman. I mean, Nightman is what I want to be called. So I didn't remember Nightman, but it knew Smith. I was just like, is it because Smith is common, or because it's sneaky?
I know. I'm thinking, like, is it pulling that information from my real name information because it's common? But I must have put it in at some. But I never do that in games. I don't ever put my own name in. I always use my screen name.
Because there's name and then there's nickname. So there is an Elliot in the game, which is cool. But
I accidentally changed mine.
But my nickname is always Big Man, which is just, it's like, welcome back, Big Man. It's just funny. Very sultry. There's no Nightman, of course.
Yeah.
You guys have anything to say? Because I was going to wrap it up with something a little non sequitur-y.
No, I think that's about it. Like we said, the hype for this game is real. Like Michelle just said, there was 1 million people that played this game that spent $45 just to be able to play this game 4 days ahead of time. 1 million people did that. That is a testament into the game itself. Because probably the majority of them, if not everybody, really had this game on Game Pass. But everybody was willing to spend that extra money.
Now, I don't want to set Kenny off, but Halo Gauntlet has been thrown down.
Oh, it sure has.
For sure. Oh, this really has thrown a gauntlet down for Halo. You're not wrong. I have almost no expectations for Halo, so you're not going to set me off on that.
and Kenny finally touched on it, but we didn't really talk about it at all while just extolling the virtues of Forza Horizon 5. How amazing is Game Pass?
Oh my lord. For real, though.
It's really, like, I know we say it over and over again, the best value in gaming, but
it's not even close.
Yeah, this is amazing.
There is no second place to Game Pass. It is just so good. I mean, just 2021 alone, Forza Horizon 5 and Halo Infinite. I'm going to play those two games. If I didn't have Game Pass, I would spend $60 on that. Well, that's $60, or that $120 is a month of is a year of Game Pass. Like, not to mention all the other games I am consistently playing, able to play it at work through my laptop or on my phone, on the wherever. Game Pass is where it's at. So
now that we've sort of non sequitured already,
yeah, what you got?
I'm gonna super non sequitur. So,
that's a word.
Sure.
Or an echo.
And we were, so I was watching my son play, and I said, Tyler, you got to look at these horns. It's from all these games. And, it made sense to have, Killer Instinct and Battletoads and Halo.
Sea of Thieves.
But then there's Doom E1M1. I'm like, what is this? And it's got the first level theme from the 1993 Doom. I'm like,
oh, that's cool.
Amazing.
And I guess they can do that now because Microsoft owns that.
Okay, yes. I guess that cool. Does make sense now that you say it like that. So I said, Ty, turn this off. You're going to play Doom. So, I mean,
all right then.
He's 11 now. He's played Fortnite. He's played shooters. So I'm like, whatever. I don't think he's going to be turned off by this pixelated violence. So we turn on Doom. He's like, wait, how do you jump? I'm like, you can't jump. He says,
you don't.
He says, how do you look up and down? You can't look up and down. He said, Dad, this game sucks. I said, you're going to play this first level. I want to see if you can do it. So he beat the first level. I showed him where a couple of secrets were. And I said, you know what? You're going to play the second level because there's key cards in this one. I wanted to see if you could figure it out. So he beats the second level. And then he's playing the third level. He's like, Dad, why am I enjoying this? I said, see? And imagine how cool this was in 1993 when all we really had was the beginnings of Super Nintendo, and you couldn't do this. And I said, this is where we got the term deathmatch from, was this game. It's like, really? Yeah, it's from this game. That's why you're playing a lot of the stuff you're playing today. So yeah, sorry for my inane ramblings about 30-year-old games.
Funny.
That was a good story.
But it's fun.
That's funny.
It is. This maybe goes back to your initial question, Michelle. But yeah, it is fun to show kids stuff you grew up on, and I
can't wait for that.
I'm going to show Oliver Forza Horizon 5. Check this out.
Ain't that something?
Back in my day.
Like, as we're recording, so again, never mind the fact that my nephew is still awake and it's after 11 p.m.
10?
He's 10. But he just texted me, I'm downloading Forza Horizon 5 now. It's going to take 5 hours. And I texted back, go to sleep. So he'll be starting that tomorrow.
All right.
Great.
Yeah, that was the game showcase. Let's continue on with the show. Let's get into some sales. As much as I hate to ask this, Elle, what baby games are you going to recommend this week?
What do you mean? Now let's ask if you remember who my favorite developer is.
Radalika.
Damn it! It's Cocoa Dog Melon. What?
Chili Dog.
Yeah. Eastasiasoft. That's all I could really recommend at this point. We have Knoll Drifter and Project Starship, $2.49 each, usually $5. Easy shmups. And then there's one I haven't played at the bunch, which is RoboZaro, which is $3.49, down from $7. Anyone played that one? I haven't played that one.
Nope.
But if it's Eastasiasoft, I'm sure it's amazing. No, it doesn't look like any of you have played it.
No.
I've completed it.
I'm glad you asked.
Did not like it.
Oh, that means I have to play it. Was it bizarre? Oh, I remember that.
Do you have any good games for us, Michelle?
Good is quite subjective. So I have.
Well, it can't be worse than else.
Now, bear in mind, I don't tend to look at sales frequently as you guys do, because Game Pass and all that good stuff. But the couple games that caught my eye were N++ Ultimate Edition, not because it's a steep discount, but because if you like the platformer, or more accurately, the failer, N++ is really, really good. Super frustrating, but very satisfying. It's $11.49, down from $15. Once again, not a big discount. I don't know if it's on sale that often, or it's just a game that nobody else on the panel would ever recommend in any context, so it never gets mentioned. But if you liked N+, back in the day, this is more of that, and even has classic levels in it, so you'll get to relive, for better or worse, some of the stuff you played back in the Xbox 360 era. And also just giving a shout to Untitled Goose Game being on sale. It's $9.99, down from $20. It's marked as puzzle on TA. I know a lot of folks listening to this played it while it was in Game Pass, but if you missed it when it was in Game Pass, like I did,
this
is a good time. Right, you didn't finish it, right? You started it, but didn't.
Yep, which means we're going to buy it, and it will be Games with Gold.
I'm fine with that. If we can give the gift of Untitled Goose Game to other people who didn't experience it, I'm willing to take that bullet for people.
Sweet.
But it's fun. It's a task-oriented game. Can be a little frustrating at times, but that's okay. I think, Nate, you finished it?
Absolutely not. No? I
No?
need to buy it.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
So this is a perfect sale, because it seems like a lot of us started it and didn't finish it because geese. So that's all I have.
Yeah, I got hung up on a couple of those speedruns, to be honest, but many people got them, so I'll have to give it another go.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even start the speedruns.
Yeah.
Thanks for asking. Donut County.
Let's see what tabs you have open.
$3.89, down from $13. It's
not
puzzle
allowed to
action. It's by Annapurna Interactive, so that's one of the things going for it. Really like it. Far Loan Sales. I don't know too much about this. I've watched it. It looks interesting. It is an action game. It's 6 to 8 hours. It's $3.74, down from $15. There is a 99-minute speedrun achievement. I've heard it described as very Zen ish. It doesn't look terribly Zen because your ship catches on fire. I don't think anywhere in the definition of Zen is the mention of things on fire. Check it out. It looks interesting. It definitely looks pretty. You're basically traveling from left to right a whole bunch of times. You're stopping, you're going out, you're fixing your ship, you're getting back on, you're going. Hey, it's a great time. The last two things I want to mention are both from Daedalic Entertainment, and they are Anna's Quest, which is $10 down from $20. Not a huge discount. This is a point and click because that's what they do. And the other game is Edna and Harvey, the Breakout Anniversary Edition, which is $5 down from $20. Which is a significant sale. So check those out if you're into point and clicks, like Kenny is.
Yeah, totally. It's 100% my thing. All right, Games of Gold. Just as a reminder, available right now is Moving Out, and then on the 360 side is Rocket Knight. Both are able to be downloaded. And then on Game Pass, coming up on November...
Today.
Yeah, today.
Definitely.
Yeah, I guess I'm recording. This sounds weird.
Shh.
Forza Horizon 5. Good play. We just talked about
that today.
And also Football Manager is also now
Wait, you never finished what was happening on Game Pass? Wait.
Today,
Yes.
as in release day.
Yes.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Hey, Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, the definitive edition, is now available today, not 2 days in the future, but today,
Yes,
as in
today.
when you're listening to today.
Mm-hmm.
Also, one step from Eden on the console and PC, and just announced is Dicey Dungeons, which is ported by Radalaika?
L's favorite cheap game company.
Damn it.
Now has a Game Pass game. What?
I mean, it is. No.
That's
It's
interesting.
not Dede's Dungeon. I think we're going to
So
have...
it's not developed by them.
I think we're going to
Yeah,
hear
yeah,
about this game next week. Just a hunch.
I think we will. And yeah, it's not developed by
Probably.
them. This is a big PC game people have been talking about for a while, and it was ported by Radalaika. So
I'm going to play this game.
I don't think it's going to be your typical Rat. So
Yeah, just interesting to see Radalaika in Game Pass.
Well, it's nice to see them sort of broadening their horizons and trying to bring other things to the console. Like, this isn't a cell phone port or something like that, right? I know it came out somewhere else initially, but this seems like a more fully realized kind of title than a lot of them are. I just hope that the achievement list goes more than the first 20 minutes of gameplay or whatever it is.
Yeah. And then some Game Pass games that are getting removed on November 15th. So if you're listening to this on release day, get on this if you want to get it done. On a console and PC, all these games: Final Fantasy VIII HD, Planet Coaster, Star Renegades,
Easily beaten in 4 days.
Streets of Rogue, The Gardens Between, and River City Girls. That, or if it's a game that you want to continue playing, be sure to buy it while you still have that 20% discount. Because Game Pass.
Yeah.
But along with that is now games coming real soon, and Nate has the first one.
yeah, so
real soon.
Coming real soon. Great Corey impression. Tuesday, November 16th, the Smurfs Mission Villeaf. Now, it looks like it's Vile Af, but it's pronounced Villeaf if you listen to the trailer.
What?
And so we'll read their propaganda. Go on an adventure to save your forest. Gargamel, the evil sorcerer, just created the Villeaf, a plant that has the ability to attract and capture the Smurfs, but it's also toxic. Embody 4 iconic, someone's clicking on a thing, Smurfs to heal the plants on your way to Gargamel's hovel. The whole forest depends on you. So you're embodying 4 iconic Smurfs. That's Smurfette, Hefty Smurf, Brainy Smurf, and Chef Smurf. Chef Smurf? Was that a Baker Smurf? I don't remember.
I don't remember.
I don't.
Wasn't
know.
he the one with
Baker
the
Smurf.
accent? The random accent?
Could be.
It was.
Yeah. So you're playing.
That's right.
You're playing in
Pretty
5
sure.
different worlds. The Smurferizer, because everything has to have Smurf in it, will also make you jump, glide, dive, vacuum. Keep a good timing to overcome every obstacle and beat your enemies. Keep a good timing. That is excellent English. A subtle mix of platforming, exploration, gameplays. Find your way through vertical levels and explore them to uncover every secret. Once again, this is copied directly from them. Give life back to the Smurfs village by making progress and improve the Smurferizer by finding items spread around the levels. So a game for every Smurfs fan, young or old, but also for every 3D platforming game fan.
Are
Yeah?
Are there any young Smurfs fans?
I don't think so. Or if there
Okay.
are, they're
No.
French. Because this is a very French property. So I don't know. I know it sounds like I'm down on this game, but I'm actually interested in this.
Give me a Smurfing
looks-
break, Nate. You don't need this game.
Smurf off, dude. I'm talking.
I'm sorry.
It looks good. It looks actually like I'm not going to say it's as good as, but it gives me some very serious Super Mario Sunshine vibes. Because you've got this backpack
I can
on,
see it.
you're dashing with it, so you have movement abilities you can do with this backpack. You're also healing the village with this backpack, and you're doing all kinds of crazy stuff like that. So it seems very much like a Mario Sunshine kind of clone. So I don't know, check it out. It looks pretty cool to me. I'm sure it's going to be at least $40. So you're going to want to wait for a sale unless you're a huge Smurfs fan. And if you are, I would love to find out and know that about you.
I think Corey
When I
is.
saw,
Yes.
maybe.
I think he is.
When I saw that you picked this game, Nate, I immediately just thought it was because tie-in to
'Cause it's tie-in?
family property kind of thing. I had no idea. Like, I didn't pre-read your notes that were taken directly from the developer. But this is not what I was expecting this to be, like kind of Paw Patrol, but with Smurfs. That's not what this seems to be.
No, this does not seem like a tablet game or a phone game that's been ported to the Xbox. This looks like a fully realized 3D action platformer where you're a plumber turned Smurf with a water pack turned, toxic spreader, or,
I will be very curious to see how this game does critically in a couple days when it is out there in the wild. Because I can't
Yeah.
imagine any of us playing it anywhere near launch
Yeah.
until it's very, very steeply discounted.
it's a horrible name. It's a horrible name, but check it out.
It's vile.
Might be good. Yeah, it's vile.
It's weird because the Smurfs
Yeah.
aren't one of those franchises that even like people not Kenny's age, people our
Right.
age, have that sort of affection for, where our kids are going to know this. It's not one of those.
I mean, the most recent thing was like the Neil Patrick movies, right? They had two Neil Patrick Harris. They had like a sequel to that,
and that wasn't
a
all that
series.
recently anymore at this point.
It wasn't. It wasn't.
This is a strange use of an IP, but good for them.
Nor was it good or deserving of a video game adaptation, and it's not. It's completely different story. So,
Okay.
yeah, check it out. I will. Wish I can play it, but it's gonna be really expensive.
Nate's gonna wait till it hits $35.
I'm gonna do my best to convince the publisher and developer that I am a huge Smurfs fan. I may put Smurf every fifth word in the email, the interest email. So we will see. I will do my best. I will do
Tell
my
them that
best.
Hefty Smurf was your favorite of all time.
Snorlax. We'd like to review your Smurfing game. Please send it to us.
Have a Smurfy day.
Michelle, what game did you choose for your coming real soon?
This is my first time really doing a coming real soon segment like this with you guys, and I looked at this vast list of things that are coming really soon and went, wow, I recognize none of these except for that Smurfs game, but Nate already called that. So I went with a game coming out on November 17th called Clang 2. And apparently Clang, the first one, was actually scheduled to come out in Xbox. On the Xbox One. It had been announced in 2017, and the only thing that exists on the TA page is the one article saying that it was announced for the Xbox One. So the first game never made it out. The second game is making it out. It is a rhythm action game that features the music of an EDM composer named Blind. It's stylized like B, capital L, I, capital N, D. So I went through, because I don't know really any EDM, and decided to take to Spotify, which seems like a reasonable course of action, and find Blind's uploaded music there. And his thing, or their thing, is that they put video game music out. So there's an album called Nestor Years that's remixes of NES era songs. There's one called Chozo Legacy, which is based on music from Metroid. There's one called 7, which is music from Final Fantasy 7, and the original soundtrack for Clang. So I listened to the Clang soundtrack on my way home from work today, and I can totally see how that would be fun to put into a rhythm action game. It was a little hard to gauge from the videos, and there's really no well-written summary of how the gameplay works. It bills itself as a rhythm action platformer, but from the videos I watched, it didn't seem to be a lot of platforming, but it's a beat match game. So you'll have certain icons appear on the screen. You have to swipe the controller over and then hit the button, or you have to hold in the button, and you have to do this in the rhythm to be able to get through the stages and move on. Once you finish the game, I think you open up a harder version of it. So it sounds interesting. I always like a good rhythm action game. Listening to music from the first Clang game, it was catchy. So this seems interesting to me, at least. It's received generally positive reviews on Steam so far. So this is lovely because I went from not knowing any of these now having 2 games I'm at least sort of keeping an eye on. Elle, did you have a game in mind?
I was going to say, I actually listen to a lot of video game remixes, and I've heard of this guy. Blind, which is stylized as lowercase b, capital L, lowercase I, capital N, and small d.
That sounds familiar.
A tag only a blind person would like. Yeah, it's he's pretty big. Pretty big. What game did I pick? Oh, I picked a game that I didn't hear of, but apparently looks to be a big thing. It's called Nerf Legends.
Bruh.
Do you listen to the podcast, my friend?
No, apparently
I
not.
literally talked about this game.
Apparently not.
That's been mentioned before.
Oh.
We'll mention it again. What'd you learn?
Well, now you're going to have to edit it.
Get him, Fug.
I do listen to the podcast. I just don't remember it. Sorry.
I am shocked. Shocked you didn't pick Math Though Is Together. That was my first choice on this list, and I didn't pick it because it's by your favorite developer, or one of them. And now I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed because I could have spoken about that, although I'm glad to have talked about Clang too.
Go ahead, talk about it.
Well, you're supposed to be talking about Nerf.
That's a Nintendo.
Which was already
Talking
talked
about
about, but talk about it
We
again.
never heard about it.
Well, who talked
Apparently
about it?
there's a Nerf
Tell
game
me about
coming
it.
out.
So
I've
why
never
is it
heard
on
of
this
that.
list?
I don't know, because it's like a legend game or something.
Probably because it got delayed.
That's most likely why.
I was looking at the trailer and it said October 2021. But now it's due out November 19th. All right, well, we'll talk about it again. Basically, it's a first-person shooter with Nerf. Now, since I'm old, when I think of Nerf, the first thing I think of is Nerf footballs, not these silly little gun things that we have bullets all over the house of these stupid things like, I want a Nerf gun, and then they use it once, and
everywhere
they use them once, and then there's the
use them once. You're playing Nerf wrong.
My kids, well, there's video games to be played. Well, anyway, it's a first-person shooter. Looks colorful. And mash those together.
Wow. Okay, then. What a description.
Thank you. I don't know. We'll see when it comes out what it's like.
It looks like it's going to be
Trailer
fun.
shows basically
Kinda looks
nothing.
like an arena shooter, except the one downside to it is that it doesn't look like Nerf whatsoever.
Mhm.
Because if you watch one of the trailers, it looks like you're getting shot with like a laser or something. Like there's not like I don't know, like let's say a paintball in air quotes kind of appeal where it's like, oh, you get shot once and you're out. It looks like it's just a shooter, but your guns are modeled after Nerf guns.
Right, like the
Which is
arena
so cool.
should be littered with Nerf bullets. Like you should just be
Exactly.
walking around in piles of foam.
Yeah, eventually progressively getting slower because it's harder to walk through the darts as they're now knee high.
Oh man, Michelle, this Mashed Up Together was developed by Eastasiasoft and Radalaika.
I know.
And Kind Cat Games. And
I don't know them.
And it's 26 megs.
Oh dear God!
That's a different game. We don't talk about that one.
Wait! This game already sucks. I haven't even seen gameplay of it.
You don't need to.
Help a sugar-free marshmallow. Who eats sugar-free marshmallows?
They're disgusting. They have Gluten-free.
I didn't even know that was a thing. Why would you
Gelatinous.
have a sugar-free marshmallow?
What it really means is the developer only came up with a white rectangle, and marshmallow is vaguely rectangular enough, so we've got a marshmallow.
Then make it a real marshmallow, not the sugar-free crap. All right, well, that's my hill to die on tonight.
Maybe that's the DLC.
Speaking of crap, contests. Wait a minute. Contests are good. Never mind.
And they say my segues are bad.
It was crappy.
All right, Nate, tell us about the Gamertag Challenge.
Yes, the Gamer Tag Challenge for this month is Mental Night 5. His wild card is any new achievement or previous completion by developer Fulbright. And that will be the games Gone Home, Console Edition, and Tacoma. And his bonus is Baby Gamer, achievements in games geared towards elementary school age. If you're not familiar with the Gamer Tag Challenge, it's a contest where we try to earn achievements in games and spell out the gamer tag with the first letter of that game. If you have any questions or want to read up about it, go to the channel in the Discord.
Now Nate, I have a question.
Yes.
Would a game featuring a sugar-free marshmallow be a game geared toward an elementary school-aged person?
Well, I'm pretty sure they don't like sugar-free stuff. So, I mean, it's practically a vegetable.
I don't think
And
so.
vegetables taste like sad.
I don't know. I think this is one of those plat failure games. So probably not. I see lots of spikes.
Yeah. All right, well, that takes us to Brag Camp.
No!
So, what?
You forgot like the biggest contest that just started.
Oh, yeah, GTASC.
Oh, that thing.
Well, why don't you talk about
I don't
it?
want to talk about it. Fine, I will.
I don't want to talk about it.
Fine, I'll talk about it.
Yeah.
All right.
All right,
Someone
briefly.
who's-
And just like that,
Someone who's
bullied
written
Michelle into
many
talking about
articles
the
about it on
contest.
TA. can
This
talk
is
about
going to be brief. The Great True Achievement Score Challenge has once again launched. It is back in a 6-month format once again. Teams of 3 compete to have the most TAD during a week, or at least enough TAD to be over the elimination line. It is week 1, which means the elimination line will be about 3 true achievement difference. So we have a room in Discord if you're interested in talking about GTASC and sharing GTASC strategies. Join us in the TA GTASC room on the Discord server. So there. That's
it.
GTASC.
Wow. Are you in GTASC, Nate?
I mean, officially, yeah. If you go look at the thing, I'm there, and I haven't been knocked out yet. It's day 2.
Are you on a team?
I am on a team. I am.
And
yes.
who's on your team?
Who's on your team and what's your team name?
Yeah, it's a great question. Let me go look that up.
While Nate looks up his team, and we're not going to ask Kenny because he doesn't participate in fun things.
I
If you-
could not care less about true achievement contests.
If you have a team that is participating, for the most part, it's going to be on our friends lists because we're all friends with each other here. But if something special happens with your team or interesting and there's an anecdote you want to share, let us know, tag us, share your story. It's something we may bring up on the podcast during the GTASC portion of it. As in previous years, I'm sure we will read the list of people who got bounced every week, and we'll root on the community members who make it far into the contest once we get to that point.
Yeah, so I just clicked on the follow all teams tab, which basically follows all your friends' teams.
Yep.
I gotta say, I'm very disappointed in a lot of these team names. Some people didn't even pick team names. I see.
Well, I picked the team name.
I see Team
And,
Wheezy Fuzz, Team Mike Pitch. What's wrong with you people? Pick a freaking team name.
Well,
Let's have
we've
the
been
fun.
waiting.
Yeah, pick a team
Let me-
name.
let
We've
do
been waiting for
mine.
Koosh, so let's
So
hear it.
I'm not too proud to say that I know Mattism, my good friend. He's on my team. I knew that because I asked him. And the other person is a soon-to-be friend who I do not know, Nom Stuff.
Oh,
So
okay.
they apparently like to eat good things. So
Nom Stuff's a good guy. He's been around.
so I should mention
Yeah,
something.
Nom
Oh, do
Stuff's
you
been
know?
around.
You know
Yeah.
Nom
Yeah.
Stuff?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, cool. Well, I will reach out to Nom Stuff and I will invite them. Oh my gosh, they're a ponder.
No. Wait, what?
I should know
What?
that there's a U. There's a U. He's
Yeah,
a
he's
Oh,
ponder.
foreigner.
Ponder. Yes.
It's
Yeah.
English.
He's-
Yeah. So
Yeah.
we'll have to introduce him to the Discord.
He used to be
And
there.
our team name is one that I picked with no input from anyone else, so it's my fault and no one else's. Oddly numbered gamer scorers.
Oh,
nice.
I like that.
Nice.
Because we're 3. There you go.
We're 3 what?
People.
Oh.
Gamer scorers.
gamer scorers.
Elle was clearly setting all this up to talk about our team. So why don't you talk about who's our third and our team name?
Wait, we're on the same team?
Allegedly.
Not by her choice.
I don't remember. Yes, of course, our third member this year is someone a little different. It is Death Dealers. So I have not one but two women on the team that want to kill me at any given time. Our team name is the the truck driver, the librarian, and the grammar policeman. So that is our team name. And our chat room is called Two Bitches and a Librarian. I'll let you figure that one out. Which we were going to make our team name, but weren't sure that one would be appropriate because no one wants to hear about librarians. Michelle's giving me evil eyes already, see? Unreal. And we plan on going really far, like maybe, I don't know, week 2.
Yep. Maybe Christmas if we're
really
already shooting for the stars.
We're already under the line.
So how long do you have to go to get the stupid badge?
There is no badge. There is no stupid badge.
There's no badge.
This is just for fun.
There is, however, a counter that goes up in your community games, but there's no badge.
People complained that because it's a competitive contest, it means that you are not guaranteed a way to get there. You could be eliminated by forces outside of your own ability to play. So they decided not to issue a community badge this year.
All right, well, number 1, get. Number 2, good. And that will solve that.
And you know what's good?
At the time of recording, Aruturik is number 3, an individual with 7,563 TA difference. What are you doing?
There's always someone that does that.
Well, that sounds like a bit of a brag.
Oh. Let's see.
Well, is there any other
brags? Did anyone go to summer camp?
Yeah, let's talk about brag camp. This is everyone's favorite part of the show because they get to hear their names. In completions, we have Casual Exile with 650 completions. Red 047 has 750 completions, and Noth is at 950 completed games.
In ratio, KooshMoose has reached a new milestone. TA ratio is 1.7. I don't pick these things; they just happen to happen.
Apparently, KooshMoose is playing difficult games.
Apparently.
Forza Horizon 5 is just inflated right now.
Hey, Unpacking has a 1.7 ratio. It's like right at that line.
Does it really?
Mm-hmm.
Possibly. I pay no attention to these things. In streaks, Unky Tim Fu is currently on a 5-year achievement win streak. Good job.
Well done.
We then have I gotta watch my words. We have 4 people who currently have a 100-day achievement win streak. They are Wild West 08, Redemption Denied, What the Fug, and Dunkos. Eldritch SS, that seems like a new gamer tag to Brad Camp. 450 days. Sincere Seeker 6, not new. I love saying it. 600-day achievement win streak. And Elroy OMJ has a 1,550-day achievement win streak.
Magical Mars has reached 100,000 gamer score.
Fista
Roboto has reached 2 foofs of 200,000 gamer score. Sir Polygon has reached 3.5 foofs of 350,000 gamer score. Mr. Gompers, 5 foofs, and Lord of Dookie. It is late. I can't read. Lord of Dookie has reached 9.5 foofs.
Say his full name, sir.
Thanks for that. That's appreciated.
It's like saying his first name. It's like saying Bob got it. Bob who?
Right. Which Lord of Dookie got this milestone?
Those spaces are very helpful, just like commas.
You're welcome.
Kenny, read his name again.
Okay, fine. Lord of Dookie 69.
There we go.
Has got 9.5 foofs.
Very nice.
Oh, it's my turn. Thanks for asking. Death Dealers is now in the top 1,000 of the Ohio Gamer Score leaderboard for action RPGs. which is not really that impressive, but she threatened to kill me if I didn't rate it. Fallon Serrano is now in the top 200 of the England TA leaderboard for open world. Jimbot, I haven't seen his name in a while. Jimbot69 is now in the top 100 of the games played leaderboard. Mattism, you should pick him as a partner, Nate, he's pretty good, is now in the top 5 of the Oklahoma TA leaderboard for Hack and Slosh. The Alpha Seagulls in the top 1,000 of the New York Gamerscore leaderboard for role-playing. Yeah, New York. And Vulgar Latin is now in the top 500 of the games played leaderboard. Which, of course, he's diving every game known to man that he hit his $1,000 goal for Extra Life. He actually went up with, what, 1,600 plus?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Woot.
He smashed it. Maybe he'll come talk about it.
That's awesome.
I don't listen to the podcast. Have we mentioned that yet? No, we didn't. Okay. And in brags, we have Waka Bale is number 1 in Achievements 1 leaderboard for Battle Royale, which is amazing.
Go Waka.
And of course, he used, I think Forza Horizon 5 gets the Battle Royale designation, so he can cheat his way to Achievements 1. And Inigo Montoya, otherwise known as Fezzik80, is just hit 99% completion percentage because he's a loser.
Whoa.
No, because he's really
That's
focused
amazing.
at games.
Dang.
And he put it in the Brag Camp channel and he circled it in in great photoshopping ways. Microsoft Paint, probably.
Well, you can't get much better than Microsoft Paint.
Microsoft Paint is the best. So congratulations. If you have a worthwhile brag, make sure to tag me. I'm pretty sure Corey tagged me with something at some point, but I forgot what he said. Oh, well. He should have been here.
And just to go one more time, again, big congratulations to Devin for all of his work with Extra Life, for staying up the 24 hours, for playing all those games, for raising the $1,600, for eating the hot chip that I think Kenny now has to eat one too, for getting Corey to be obligated to watch The Princess Bride. Thank you, everyone who donated from the community to help Devin with his goal. That the fundraising efforts for Extra Life are so, so important to get these kids some respite from everything they're dealing with. And that was just amazing work. So again, big, big, big congratulations to Devin. That was a job well done. And to other community member OMJesus, who did a 21.5-hour Connect marathon for her Extra Life campaign this year. So good job to both of you, and thank you for all you did.
Who did you shout out?
OMJesus?
Yeah, she did. She was supposed to do 24 straight hours of Connect, but she only did 21. She wanted a slacker. Unbelievable.
Wow.
Yeah, I jumped in on her Fruit Ninja stream, and I told her she could use 2 hands. She was only using 1. And I told her she could use her feet also. Because you're not supposed to play for achievements for that game. That one, you just go crazy and destroy things. You can use your feet. I wasn't lying. Yeah. Jesus.
Well, that will do it for us on this show. Be sure to keep listening to all the extra content that is coming up. If you would like to support us or follow us, you can do that in multiple ways. We have a Twitch, twitch.com or twitch.tv/AH101. And send us a Twitter tweet on the Twitter at Achievements101. Join the Discord, discord.io/AH101. We're also on YouTube, Achievement Hunting 101. And if you can, we would greatly appreciate you by supporting us with your monies. Patreon.com/Achievement Hunting 101. Our patrons are what keeps the show going. So we greatly appreciate all of them. And thank you for Michelle for stepping in on Corey's absence.
Oh, thank you for having me. Always a pleasure to record with you guys.
Always gotta make sure there's a girl on the panel.
Wow.
All right.
I just figured out what you did there. I am
Easy
not
shot.
a girl. Oh my god.
All right. And with that, see you next week.
Oh, bye-bye.
Class dismissed.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh, yeah.
Hello and welcome to another spooky Thanksgiving VCCW roundup, wrap-up, thingamajig. Intro done. Chewy is here as well. Say hello, Chewy.
What's up?
I'm Vulgar Latin. Let's do this. What did we do in October? We did spooky games. How'd that go?
It went really well, actually. We did this. This is one of our rare kind of redos from last year. Most of the things we've done this year have been fresh and new and shiny, but we have brought back a few things from the dead, so to speak. So last year we did it as well, and we had a list of games that were horror adjacent, shall we say. So survival horror, action horror, and anything that had a horror or spooky kind of vibe about it.
Thematically appropriate games.
And we had a massive list, and it was an even bigger list this year. I think we had over 500 games in that list. And anyone who earned any achievements in those games would be tracked. We were mainly tracking gamer score, but actually I did track pretty much everything else, because now I can with the magic of spreadsheets.
Yay!
No surprise who won.
Was it Mental Night?
It was Mental.
Yeah.
It was Mental Night.
Hey.
But Mental Night actually and Inferno were both way, way out in front. They played tens of games.
In the tens.
In the tens.
Yes.
Many tens of games. Inferno played 50. Mental Night played 46 from the list. So it is a lot.
I would actually point out that we never did claim a thing that we were doing for you. Were just kind of like, yeah, we're playing spooky games, just go for it. And in that regard, Mental did get the most gamer score and completions. Dental did get the most completions, but Inferno pretty much took everything else.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Mental got almost 30,500 gamer score, and Inferno just missed out on 30,000. He got 29,999. But yeah, like you say, he got more TA, more TAD, more achievements won, and he played more games.
The only person who played more, looking at this, is Chesno.
Yes, special shout out to Chesno, who going into the month wanted to try and play 100, but I think some personal stuff meant he couldn't hit that goal. But 70 games played is pretty impressive. Although maybe not so impressive is the fact that he managed to play 70 games, but only got, like 10th on the leaderboard, something like that.
Less, because he's, I'd say that's 15.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. He got 15th on the leaderboard. So he started 70 games, pretty much.
We had other people in the top 10. So Dude with Face, Toby Lynn, Chewy, great job Chewy, Waka Pale. You all put in between 8 and 14,000 gamer score. Arutarek, Sabin Rothschild, me, and Jimbot were the rest of the top 10. And I think mine was just all stuff we'll get into right now.
Yeah, I actually really enjoyed doing this. I'm a particular fan of horror, spooky games, so I like a good excuse to play them. And, I went through and I did a bunch of stuff. Made a start on Resident Evil 7, which made me poo in my little pants. And
it's spooky.
It is pretty intense, that opening, those opening sections in particular. Yeah, I did like things like the Distraint games, a couple of Stranger things, Layers of Fear as well, one of the Bloober games. So I really enjoyed it.
And Retro Chief got in 11th, and he did all of the Walking Dead definitive series in a month.
The whole thing. Is that the 1K one?
Yeah, the definitive is the 1K. Yeah, that one's ugh.
So he played all of the Walking Dead for 1,000 gamer score in 1 month. That's dedication.
Ugh. Yeah.
Now, one series in particular held a bunch of people's attentions for the month, and that is because Rockadude issued a challenge to the community to play as much BioShock as possible.
Yeah, he had never played them before, and some would say he hasn't played them now. But some people really took off with the idea.
What do you mean, some people?
Some people, folks. So Inferno did the most in of all of us getting the most achievements in BioShock games. And then me. We both did well over 100. I think he edged me out by over 10. Eliflet had almost 100, and Hawkeye Berry and Toby Lynn round out the top 5. So I did almost all. I had one achievement in the BioShock remaster, so I completed it. I beat the story and then Minerva's Den in BioShock 2. The remaster for that, I did Minerva's Den and some of the multiplayer in BioShock 2 for the 360, and completed Burial at Sea.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, I've already done the first BioShock. I've done most of 2, including the multiplayer, and I've done most of 3, including the Burial at Sea DLCs. So I didn't have a huge amount to go on, but I did do Minerva's Den finally in 2, which I really enjoyed. So I'm glad. Only 7 achievements, but I'm glad the event made me go back to it.
It's good stuff, yeah.
And how did our host of the event do, out of curiosity?
Oh, he managed to get 6 with 13 achievements by getting to Peach Wilkins in Neptune's Bounty, which is, you said you think it's a quarter of the way through the game.
I had to look. Yeah, it's about a quarter of the way.
It's the 3rd area. So there's a tutorial area, there's the medical ward, and then there's Neptune's Bounty. And he did Neptune's Bounty. So he barely played it. But, and a lot of people played the multiplayer for 2, and we had a whole group and a channel for it. And they're nearing the completion for that multiplayer now, and I managed to complete it after the whole thing. So I did it here after the month was over. So I didn't give up on you, BioShock. And we also noticed that Prue completed BioShock 1 14 years after starting it. So good job, Prue.
Yeah, that's really coming back from the dead on that one. I think he'd done pretty much everything except for like brass balls, basically. So he came back to do that. Yeah, so, I mean, ragging on Rokadood aside for his complete lack of involvement, just personal involvement.
Effort.
It was actually a really cool thing, and a lot of people rallied around, and it was really great to see everyone getting involved with the multiplayer through the community and knocking out so many achievements. So, cool.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Now, the other big thing that we did was Chewie going a little on the deep end.
Talking in the 3rd person.
Oh, my God. It was so much effort. So last year we did a zombie-themed event, which was very popular, which involved a small group of zombies at the beginning of the month, which grew over the course of the month into a horde as people were killed and eaten. And then everyone who was surviving had to try and escape from the horde by outscoring them, basically, scoring more than the average score of the entire zombie horde. Anyone who didn't would die. It was a very popular event, and so I thought we could kind of do a redo of that, but I like to keep things fresh. And the idea struck me actually a few months ago when one of our community members, Ace, there was a joke between him and Noth, and Ace's text name ended up upside down, and we made jokes about him being in the upside down, which kind of sparked an idea in my head that, hey, why don't we make the community event for October Stranger Things themed? Quite a few people who are fans of the show. It's thematically appropriate for October. So then I designed the most overly complex thing that I could possibly have come up with. But it kind of worked out, I think.
It was, yeah.
Yeah, it was fun. It was engaging. It was interesting. So what we had some basically like Metal Gear style radio codec calls from Sheriff Hopper, one of the characters from Stranger Things. He turned up and told everyone that we needed to form a rescue squad to rescue Ace from the Upside Down, who'd been missing for a few months there. So for the first few weeks of the month, the first couple of weeks of the month, people thought that what they were doing was scoring to be chosen for the rescue squad. But along the way, people were being constantly taken to the Upside Down by the series' kind of main baddie, the first series at least, the Demigorgon. So anyone who actually scored 0 in each of the 3-day periods would be taken to the Upside Down as well. But in the background, secretly, we had a little side game going on. Anyone who's seen subsequent series of the Stranger Things will know that there's kind of a big bad creature called the Mind Flayer. It's not really a spoiler. He's there from the beginning, and he can control people with their by taking over their mind, basically flaying them. If you've seen anything like Invasion of the Body Snatchers, The Thing, those are kind of big reference points for the series. So what we had the top 5 goal getter scorers at that point of the year, who were Mental Knight, yourself, Mr. Volgalatin, Jimbot, Mike Pitch, and Lego Head, who were all started the month as flayed. And what they could do was every 3 days target people in the community in secret without those people knowing. And if they could score more TAD than them, they would be flayed, those people that they targeted. And then those people could then join the ranks of the flayed and then target other people, and so on, until the flayed would kind of be slowly growing as a secret army in the background. So kind of similar to the zombie horde, except no one knew it existed apart from those people themselves. So kind of a social deception, Among Us kind of vibe going on, or Project Winter, if anyone's played that too. So the first half of the month was all about the flayed secretly growing in numbers, while people will also be taken to the Upside Down. And we went from 5 to 58 people flayed by the time that they could stop doing that, which was bigger numbers than I was actually accounting for, because you were very effective in your flaying.
Never missed a flay. I had them in my sights.
Yeah. And it was great. And we had a secret channel where we could discuss who our targets were. And I could explain the rules about 10 different ways, because it was very complicated.
And every time you would flay somebody, people, what's
going on?
What is this?
How does it work?
What happened?
What's happening? Yeah. And obviously, as things were progressing, new things were coming in and new rules and changes, because it was always adapting and growing. So it was kind of hard for everyone to keep track on. So I appreciate the people who did. But eventually, about halfway through the month, Sheriff Hopper chose the top 5 non-flayed survivors, who were Inigo Montoya, Grey Shark, Dan PSFX, Magic Monkey, and Raw Sauce Ross. And those people were sent as a rescue squad into the Upside Down. And while they were there for the rest of the month, with Steve from Stranger Things as well, who communicated to us, again through the codec, their collective TAD scoring allowed them to rescue anyone who had been stuck in the Upside Down. People could also rescue themselves if they themselves scored while they were there. And at that point, we revealed the flayed to the rest of the community. And anyone who was a survivor could then choose to test. And this is where the kind of references to things like The Thing came in. If anyone remembers the test scene in The Thing, the famous one where they do the blood tests. This is what I was kind of trying to recreate here in the community. So they could choose to target someone and say, I want to test this person. And they could test whether they were a human or would reveal them as flayed. And again, that was about scoring more TAD. And with the flaying and the testing, people could group up, so you could increase your chances. The idea was that if people really thought that, oh, Volga, he's a baddie, he's definitely a baddie, they could rally support and get like 5 or 6 people to pin you down and test you. Unfortunately, most of the most active people in the community at this point were already flayed. There was only a few human survivors who I would say are kind of active participants. So it was kind of hard to drum up that support. So I actually had to get the flayed to kind of fake test, and it was part of the strategy was to kind of, as a flayed, to make it seem like you were human, to get involved in the testing, because otherwise people would think that there was something shady going on. But we had to kind of push that to the limits a little bit, and a few of you actually ended up revealing each other just by virtue of the fact that you had to kind of keep the ball rolling. But it was fine. It was cool. So by the end of the month, basically we had the whole community, which is, over 100 people, split up into different groups. We had Flayed, who was still working in secret, Flayed, who had been discovered through testing and subdued, survivors who had been tested and proven that they were human, survivors who were still out there in the wild, who people didn't know if they were human or not, people who were in the Upside Down and had been rescued, and people who were stuck in the Upside Down and hadn't been rescued, and finally all the dead people, the people who had died in the Upside Down. And we'd
Lots of
basically
factions.
split up the whole community into these different groups. And at that point, Sheriff Hopper, the big twist came out that a few people had kind of seen telegraphed, and there'd been hints along the way that he had been flayed the whole time. The whole thing had been a ruse to send the strongest people in the community into the Upside Down so that the remaining people would be the weaker people who could be then flayed. It was a big reveal, a big moment. And he, at that point, then released everyone who had been proven as flayed, who were about, I can't remember how many it was, about 20 so people at that point. And they all melted together into a creature who went on a killing spree. Anyone who wasn't proven as human at that point was vulnerable and could be killed by that monster. But the proven humans could actually then fight against it. And again, this is all based on TAD scoring that I was tracking.
Just in time for GTASC.
Yeah. Unfortunately, a lot of people died at that point, but they did manage to kill the creature, which meant that creature then wasn't part of the final battle, which I think would have probably tipped the odds into the Flayed's favour. Meanwhile, the people in the Upside Down were able to help as well by trying to sever the connection between the Mind Flayer and the Flayed. Doing so would have weakened the Flayed again in the final battle. Unfortunately, they weren't able to do that, but most of them did manage to escape from the Upside Down. So all of that complexity led into a final battle where all of those different factions were whittled down into basically two: the survivors and the Flayed. And everyone else was dead. We had 38 survivors and 39 Flayed by that point. So actually, despite everything, it ended up being a really kind of balanced thing. And we had kind of high scorers on each team. So it wasn't like it was a foregone conclusion one way or the other. Everything was based on TAD in that final battle. And we had people like Icefire, Younger Garden, Prue, Mental Knight, and Inferno on the Flayed side, all putting in really big numbers. But the survivors actually really rallied together at this point, which was nice to see. And we had MDP, Dave Bodum, Ace and Freakerio, who had been rescued from the Upside Down, all putting out really big numbers, thousands of TAD in the last 3 days of the month. But it was Redemption Denied, who had put together a massive 7,000 TAD over 3 days to tip the score in the survivors' favour, allowing them to finally claim the win and destroy the Flayed.
Or did they?
Well, I had 4 different, super complex, 4 different possible endings for the storyline. The one we ended up getting was that, yes, the survivors did kill the Flayed, but because the rescue squad was unable to sever that Mind Flayer link, it wasn't destroyed, which meant that Sheriff Hopper still remained flayed and managed to escape to flay another day. So they got not the good ending, the best ending. They got the kind of semi-good ending.
Depends on who you asked.
Yeah. Ending B, I'd say.
Yes. Yeah. The not as good ending.
Yeah.
Not the I guess they call it the best ending.
Yeah. And they definitely didn't unlock the UFO ending.
Yes, that would have been good. No, it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed being part of the Flayed and just the subterfuge that was involved. Yeah,
that's what I was trying to get was this kind of social deception element, because I know a lot of people really like Among Us and games like that and games like Project Winter, and I kind of was trying to replicate that alongside a kind of zombie style event as well. And yeah, it was complex and difficult to follow, but kind of fun.
It was really fun, and we'll see what we do next year in October. That seems to be a good.
I'm going to keep it simple. Okay, definitely.
Zombies 2.
Yes.
Zombies 2.
Something. Vampires v werewolves. Okay, that's it. Done.
Star Wars 2. So that was the month that was October. That was a pretty good month, but there's more stuff brewing for November. It's a little too late for people to enter for November, but we have 2 tournaments. So we have the King of the Red Ring and the Dusty Games Classic. Both are 360 gamer score tournaments, single elimination. We've already completed round 1. If you check the pins on the VCCW channel, you can see the brackets, and you can actually see that some people even submitted predictions from the website that they have there on it. So each matchup is a week. They go, Monday to Monday, but it's UTC. So for me, it's Sunday to Sunday. Whoever gets the most gamer score moves on until one person and one team is crowned. And you get multipliers for lower gamer score games, so like arcade games and things. You get we've evened those out so they're the same as a full retail release like they are in the one, and you get a multiplier if it's not backwards compatible. It's pretty good. I've been having a lot of fun doing that so far.
Yeah. So this one is another kind of a do-over of the one we did last year, and there hasn't been a huge amount of changes to this one because it kind of just really worked last year. I'd say it kind of
nailed it. I thought.
Yeah. So we just copied and pasted it, and just the I've got to be honest. I was skeptical. I thought everyone's going to be thinking about GTASC coming up. We've just had big stuff going on. No one wants to play 360 anymore. What's the point? But then you kind of were like, hey guys, do you want to play some 360 and do a tournament? And the amount of support that came out of that was really heartening. And we've got, how is it, like 30? It's over 32, right?
Yeah, 37 people submitted to be in the solo side, and then we had a perfect 32 for that, or 32 individuals in the tag team, so 16 teams, which means that by the end of the month, the tag team will be over, but the solo has to go one more week. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and because of the unevenness, I had to make some of the matches triple threat. So those are over, but that's why the bracket looks like it does if you look at it.
And again, I was like, well, I bet the scoring's not going to be huge, but some people are really pulling it out there. So I was in a team and solo, and I have managed to, despite my best efforts, lose on both of those because people are pulling out big scoring and really getting involved. So it's great.
My tech team got eliminated because Fug raided his local library and found a whole bunch of 360 games. So yeah, the scores on this were huge. Yeah, who knew there was so much 360 stuff out there that people just didn't do?
Well, exactly. Yeah, I was really surprised by the amount of fighting vipers that got done, and I was like, didn't people do that like 10 years ago when it was like the quickest completion on the 360 at the time?
My feed is a whole lot of what year is it? Seeing like Sonic the Fighters come up, so.
Yeah, I thought I had my solo one in the bag, and then I noticed that Hatton was playing Harm's Way, and I was like, oh, damn it.
Yeah, how have you not done Harm's Way? Yep, so Harm's Way is, that one ends up being like 800 points. That's crazy. And, I ended up doing Jackbox Party Pack for the 360. Hoo-hoo. So, always something you didn't even think of, so it's kind of crazy to think about. That's pretty much it for November. The King of the Red Ring's keeping everybody pretty busy along with GTAS, but the year-long stuff is still going. Why don't you tell us about our Many C's challenge?
Yeah, so the CCC, Chesno's Crazy Completion Challenge of the CCC is still going strong. That is your started games for the year taken away from your completed games for the year, so hopefully you end up with a positive. Highest number wins. And the first half of the year there was quite a lot of moving around and shaking about, and then the bean dives also knocked a bunch of stuff down from the higher place to the bottom of the table. But in the last couple of months, there has not been a huge amount of movement. And Jester, in particular, just is holding on strong in that top spot. He isn't, being lured with all these contests to start a whole bunch of new games, like some people, Chesno, which, ironically, is his challenge.
Yes, well, it happens. Whoever issues the challenge ends up doing worse than the challenge. That's like a rule here.
It is.
Like, the same happened to Rocker.
Chesno's Law. Let's call it that.
Yes.
So Stan, it's Toadstar Venom, and AOJ still at the top there. Not a huge amount of movement at the top. At the bottom as well, Dude with the Face remains way, way, way at the bottom there, and you continue to clamber down to join him.
I will meet him and then exceed him at the bottom.
And why would that be?
Well, Extra Life, at the time of this recording, that was last Saturday, I hit the goal. Well, we all did. But my goal was $1,000, and I would dive everything I have access to. We did $1,606 for me. Like that, I raised that with all of your help, and I appreciate that immensely. But that also means I have to dive literally everything. So, maybe next year, though, I'll come out on top if we do this again. Because I'll just go back and complete all the stuff you made me dive. So I think, what am I right down? Like negative 200 and some. So it'll go. If everything goes right, I'll be at like negative 600. It'll be intense.
That is absolutely crazy. What would you estimate your completion percentage would be at that point?
So I started out at just about 60%, and I've just now broke 50. I'm at 49%, like 49.9. So I'm thinking that I will end up maybe 30%.
Wow.
Because I've done 300 games thus far. Mm-hmm. I did it right when I received my first donation. And so I'm at 300 games dove, and like I have 1,600 games on my tag right now. So yeah, it was pretty good. The percentage was great. And now it is ruined, and we all did it together. We ruined it as a team.
And what an amazing thing to be doing it for, and what a great target to have reached. I think it's so fantastic.
I am through the moon. It's helped at Omaha Children's Hospital, which is it's a cause that means a great deal to me. And as much as I might play up the fact that it's terrible, I'll dive all these games. It's more important to me that. The charity, we did good for charity, and we had a lot of fun doing it. And I now got to think of what we're doing for next year, because we got to go bigger. There's ideas. Things are in motion. Also in motion is the Year of the Assassin.
Well, it's kind of ground to a little bit of a halt. We mentioned last month and the month before we've had a few slower months, and I think people are winding down for the year and kind of focusing on other things. But we really need those two last completions, yes. Assassin's Creed Chronicles Russia and Valhalla. And we've had a few words with Lego Head, who's probably the closest for Russia, and Wheezy Fuzz, who is just 3 achievements away from completing the base game in Valhalla, which is all that we need from that. And they have committed themselves. So hopefully by the end of December, we will have the series completion. But people did do some stuff this last month. So KooshMoose and Skeptical Mario both finally finished off the multiplayer for Black Flag, which gave them the full completion in that game. Terratanium also did the multiplayer for Brotherhood, so he got the completion in that. And Neo, who I don't know if you remember, had been blasting through the stacks of Liberation and 3, has now moved on to Black Flag on the 360 and just finished the story for that as well. So he's still pushing ahead.
Is he going to do the stacks for both of those as well?
I'm not sure if he's done the stack of that. I'm doing a lot of tracking on this, so I'm gathering a lot of stats so that by the end of the year I can do a big Year of the Assassin stats dump, and we can see and we can name and shame some of the people who signed up and have done literally nothing. I will shout out that one person who signed up still has never unlocked an achievement in the entire series.
Well, that's something.
but actually, there's been a huge amount of progress. We've got loads and loads of completions, loads and loads of stories done, loads and loads of DLC. So people have definitely been pressing through the series, which is great.
Awesome.
And the final year-long one is Goalgetter, and unsurprisingly, after all the chat we've just had, Mental has won the month again in Goalgetter. But a new name, on the table who we haven't seen this high up so far is Matism, who had a very, very strong month. He did some really big scoring and held a impressive 2.36 ratio for the month, which gave him the second place. And then MVP, Volga, and Ahaizo round up that top 5. You also had a really good ratio for the month, didn't you?
I never have this good of a ratio for the month. That was nuts. I ended up with a 2.2. That's the best I've ever done.
So is that because of BioShock?
No. Well, BioShock 1 is actually a 2 ratio, the remaster. I can't explain why, but it's mostly because of Quake. Because I did Quake, and that's a 5 ratio, but it's an easy 5 ratio. And I did Tabs as well, totally accurate battle simulator. And like Bloodroots. I did a lot of stuff trying to flay people.
Yes, the TAD flaying. Yeah, there's a few people on this list actually who I think were doing the same.
Because I did a lot of that, and then I didn't really go for the easy stuff. It helped out with that, but yeah.
So those ranks actually don't make any difference to the top 5 for the entire year. We've still got Mental, Volga, Jimbot MDP, and Mike Pitch in that top 5. Unfortunately, Lego Head, who was in the top 5 a couple of months back, has been slowly dropping down the table. He's now in 7th place. And I dropped out of the top 10 entirely, giving room for Alex to sneak into the bottom of the top 10 there.
It's looking like the top spots are, well, I mean, Jimbot and MDP, and Mike Pitch is actually pretty close in there as well. But it's looking like, I don't know, I feel pretty comfortable at this second place spot. I don't see that changing much. I think it's pretty well locked. And same with Mental. I'm not catching Mental. I don't think it's going to happen, barring anything catastrophic.
Yeah, so if I look at the monthly scoring, the difference between the kind of top 5 on a month is about 10, 15 points. But for the year, he's currently
124
ahead. Yeah, so it would take some work, I think, to pass him at this point.
It would take some work by a lot of people to beat him on multiple categories so that he would drop from the community. So
yes.
So what I'm
saying, he would
saying
have to disappear off the face of the planet, and his score be annihilated from orbit, in order for him to lose at this point.
He would have to go on an extended vacation for the rest of the year, and maybe with a tiny bit of magic, I could catch him. But I don't think that's happening anytime soon.
But a solid second is still a very impressive feat. Considering you have to, in order to do well in this, you have to have consistent high scoring in multiple categories each month of the year.
And with all the contests and things that we do, that's not exactly easy. So
no, definitely not. Anyway, and there's a lot of popularity around these kind of things, so I think we'll be bringing back versions of them next year as well.
Tweaking
maybe
them
with a few tweaks.
Yeah, tweaking them as necessary, but some of these are a lot of fun. So, and I'm not really involved with the tracking, but fairly easy to track, or fairly straightforward.
Super easy at this point now.
Yeah.
We've refined and improved how we do things over the years. So actually now we can get quite a lot of data out of TA.
Yeah, and big shout outs to the people that do that, Mario and Alex, and people who are better in spreadsheets than me, and Chewy, Koosh. I just learned how to do the percent function today in Excel, so I'm making progress.
Wow. Okay.
And on that bombshell.
And that is all we have time for today. Join us next month where we find out how the King of the Red Ring shook out and what we have in store for December to round out 2021.
All right. See you.
Bye.
Oh, yeah. Screws. 5. Can that be right? That's what it says. Okay, what else? 8 plastic knobs, I guess you would call them. What the hell are those for? It's just a chair. Oh well, I'm sure Naked Silhouette Guy will walk me through it. There he is. So, on to assembly. Right. Okay. Naked Guy is... What is he doing? Has he got stomach cramps, or what is he... Oh, wait, okay, I get it. He doesn't get the instructions. And judging from his smile, he is extremely excited about calling the support line. Weirdly excited. Well, I'm sure I can manage. Thank you very much, Naked Silhouette Guy. So, what's next here? Wait, what the hell? What is this? A large Hadron Collider? What is this? It's a frickin' chair. What the hell is that Z-shaped thing and the little wheel that moves in a counterclockwise... Okay, screw this. You let me down, Naked Silhouette Guy.
Hello, I'm Wakapale, and I've been infiltrating all kinds of places, murdering targets and attempting to avoid collateral damage, but sometimes ending up with dozens of dead security personnel. I thought the 2016 Hitman was supposed to be a reboot, but it retains the series' bizarre storyline, of which you need to know nothing to enjoy the fun gameplay and scenarios. The base game, which is free, is more or less just a lengthy tutorial. The rest of the game was released in 6 episodes and a bonus mission pack, revisiting locations but offering different scenarios. Hitman is very different from other episodic games, as it does have an overarching plot, but nothing stops you from tackling the missions in any order you like. The protagonist, 47, is an assassin working for the International Contract Agency. This game does not directly address that he is the 47th clone from experiments supposed to create an elite killer army, nor does it matter, as 47 is devoid of emotion or any other motivation than completing his contracts. You are discouraged from harming anyone besides your targets, but it's very possible to complete your missions by going in guns blazing, even if it is not the best approach and won't allow you to get all the achievements. Hitman has 69 achievements worth 1,360 gamer score and 3,500 TA. The TA is lower than it should be, as it uses the DLC formula rather than base game to calculate TA. The game is not very difficult, but like most stealth games, it requires some patience. You will also have to play most missions around 10 times, ending your targets in a variety of different ways to get enough mastery points to finish each episode. 10 times might sound repetitive, but there is not much repetition, as the game features a great opportunity system which you can follow to kill your target in unique, spectacular or stealthy ways. In contrast to the dark setting of playing as a contract assassin, there is plenty of humor in the game, mostly from NPC dialogue, behavior, and the creative ways you can off your targets, such as dropping a toilet on them, ejecting them from a fighter jet indoors, or shooting down their plane with an ancient cannon. The levels are sprawling, but not too large, and offers a multitude of ways to finish a mission. Most of them allow you to roam most of the level freely, but you often need to obtain disguises to wander through certain areas, often obtained by incapacitating an unfortunate NPC. Accidentally walking into a forbidden area does not usually send the security into high alert. Most of the times they offer to escort you out of the area before they start shooting at you. You never have to play on a higher difficulty level to unlock any achievements, meaning you have unlimited saves and loads at your disposal, making it easy to reverse mistakes or failed plans. The stealth systems are quite solid, letting you know when you've entered a forbidden area, if anyone is suspicious of you, or which NPCs can see through your disguise. The possibility of using most things as weapons leads to ridiculous situations, such as incapacitating witnesses by throwing soda cans at their heads. 47 has impeccable throwing aim, usually with better results than using firearms. One of your best tools are ordinary coins, which are extremely effective for distracting NPCs or luring them into an ambush. You have tons of special tools at your disposal, such as lockpicks, fiber wire, hacking devices, mines, explosive ducks, and the surprisingly useful coins, I started playing Hitman back in 2018 on an ordinary Xbox One and was instantly turned off by its very long load times, sometimes taking 90 seconds to load a level. The game loads significantly faster on the Series X. The load times are still noticeable, but a fraction of what they were on the original one. Being episodic, you only need the episodes you are playing installed, which can save you some precious disk space. As most episodes will take you around 7 hours and hovering around 7 gigabytes each, it was nice installing and removing them as needed as I played through the game. There was also another significant drawback which made me put down the game. To unlock achievements, you have to be logged into the Hitman servers, despite the game being single player only. You might wonder why that's a problem, as the Xbox is almost always online, but the servers were down or went down multiple times when I tried to play the game, leading to me completing a few missions with no actual progress being made, having to retrace my steps at a later date. In other words, when the servers go down, every single achievement in Hitman will be discontinued. If you started Hitman back in the day, I highly recommend revisiting it on a Series console, but if you haven't, I would urge you to stay away from the first installment, instead starting with Hitman 2, as it has the entirety of Hitman 1, including its achievements, as DLC. This pattern is repeated with Hitman 3, having everything in Hitman and Hitman 2, but it also offers retroactive unlocks from anything you did in Hitman 2, technically preloading Hitman 3 when earning achievements in Hitman 2. The Hitman Game of the Year edition is $60 for all of its DLC, which is not a bad price for around 40 hours of great content, but it has been on very deep discounts many times. Owning Hitman also grants access to its contents in Hitman 2 and 3. Honestly, figuring out the best way to get all the Hitman DLC is a real mess. I believe Kingsman wrote half a novel of how it worked a while back in the Discord. Just don't buy the individual episode packs in the store, as they are priced at $400 each for some reason. I had a very good time going back to Hitman on a faster Xbox, which made the game significantly less frustrating, as saving and loading were near instantaneous. I hope to get to Hitman 2, but it does not really lend itself to GTASC, which just started. Best of luck to all who entered. Have a nice day, everyone.